no matter where you're at in your journey, there's a dream somewhere that you have, and I really want you to double down on that dream and look from the inside. So here's the thing. Our careers are like stepping stones. A good chunk of us, I've been working for over 12 years, and a good chunk of us spend a lot of hours at work. It looks like 40 hours on paper, but between your commute time or prep time or the number of things that you even do outside of there, you're spending a lot of time doing this thing. But it's important that you are in a career that you absolutely love or that is taking you to the version of yourself that you want. So I asked you to start off with writing these dreams because I want you to keep it somewhere. If you just wrote it here, please write it in your jotter, your journal, your notebook, on your phone, because we're going to come back to it, right? And because we're such a mixed audience, I'm going to start off with just helping you reframe your mindset, particularly depending on where you're at. So, if you're in your early career, we'll start off with just framing this. Your career at this point is like an experiment. It's not a straight ladder. It's not somewhere that you just climb and climb and climb and get to. And just like I said when I started, I said that you start off, you can think about your career as if you're driving or as if you're cooking. When you're cooking, then let's say we're making rice, for example. We're going to start off with, forgive me if I don't say it properly or if this is not your process. You're going to start off with washing the rice, boiling some water, putting some salt, and then, putting in your rice. At that point, it's not edible. At that point, it doesn't even look like anything is going to happen. But that same rice, you know what can come out of it. You can make fried rice out of it. You can make jollof rice out of it. You can make jambalani rice out of it. You can make village rice out of it. There's a million and one things that you can do with this raw resource called rice. That's exactly how you are in your career. There's a million and one expressions that can come out of you. So I want you to view your career as an experiment and not just a straight ladder. So if you're in the early stage of your career, say 0 to 3 years of experience, you will definitely be dealing with situations like clarity, wondering if this is where you're supposed to be. Sometimes you're even feeling stuck, asking yourself if you're good enough. Many times, you might even be in roles that don't seem like they're taking you anywhere, and you're constantly wondering and asking yourself, do I know what I'm doing? You might even be underpaid. Maybe someone pays you 50,000 naira to do XYZ. I just want you to give yourself grace. At this stage of your career, the key thing that you need to focus on is experimenting, because the jollof rice and the fried rice and the jambalani rice that we eat today, it's because somebody was courageous enough to experiment and try it out. The light bulb that we use today, somebody tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. So that's exactly how it is. Just give yourself grace, knowing that you're experimenting. It might not be perfect, but I want you to do it boldly. Try different things. Say yes for the most part, because clarity comes from doing. Build and market your transferable skills. At this point in your career, the core thing you should focus on is, as you experiment, start to pay attention to the things that bring you joy. Start to pay attention to the areas that you're learning. But most importantly, start to skill stack. Focus on what you're learning and build your skills bank, your technical skills bank and your soft skills bank. Problem solving, communicating, ownership, accountability. Don't be focused on your job titles at this point. If someone gives you an opportunity, if someone gives you a project, take it, go over and beyond. But most importantly, look inwards and ask yourself, what am I learning from this? What am I enjoying? Because those are signals on the way to help you get to where you want to be. Of course, you should also feel comfortable to ask questions as many times as possible. Connect with other people that are doing stuff that you admire. You don't have to tell them to be your mentor. You can just watch them and connect with them, right? But just get early access to networks. It definitely compounds over time. So the real thing I want to zone in on here is, in your early career, think about your career as an experiment, but most importantly, know that all the skills that you're stacking up, they're going to compound at the end of the day. I'll give you an example. This is where I was in 2015. And I just want to remind anyone that is feeling out of place and help you see that you are not out of place. In your career, you are not out of place. This was me in 2015. I was very, very unsure about what I was doing. I was working in consulting in a big four firm, and to people on the outside, it seemed like you don't make them. But deep down, I didn't necessarily feel fulfilled. So I was searching for more, but I didn't exactly know how to use my skills or what to do with them. So this was a mentor or a family, an older family friend that I had connected with at the time. He was working in an IT company, and I was told to just chat with him. This is basically my email to him, deciding on a career path. I don't know what I want to do. My major weakness would be this and that and that. Trust me, the things that you write, these things, they're breadcrumbs to where you want to be. I've gone on from this person to who I am today, helping other people figure out their career paths. So I'm just trying to tell you, if you're in your early career, I want you to bear that at the back of your mind, to view your career as an experiment. Most importantly, to remember that you are not out of place. You're figuring things out and you will find it. But most importantly, pay attention to the things that bring you joy and to the things that drain you, because ultimately, those are signals to where you're trying to go. I hope that is making and helping you. Okay, so now we'll move to the next set of people, my mid career people. In your mid career, there's usually this pressure of, you feel like you've arrived, you feel like you know what you're doing, but when career confusion hits you, it can be a very weird feeling, because at this point, you actually feel like you should already know what you're doing. And this is what makes it all the more confusing. So if you're in this stage, you're probably feeling like you've already hit a ceiling, or you're burnt out, or you're feeling undervalued, or you're just wondering where all of this is leading to. In many cases, you even want to get paid more and things like that. Don't worry, I got you. The key thing here for you, say you've spent 3 to 7 years, you've probably come to terms with, this is what I want to learn, or this is what I want to do. Again, this is a blanket thing. So I definitely know that there might be people in their mid career who may not be feeling this way, or there might be people in their early career who may not have felt the way that I said earlier. But I'm hoping that majority of us are able to resonate and connect with the things that I'm saying. So if you're in your mid career and you're at this point where the common theme for you is just like wanting more, you may not even know what more looks like, and that's absolutely okay, right? The key thing that you need to do here is to focus on repositioning your story, not your worth. I want you to get comfortable with removing your self worth from your job title or from the work that you do. Some of you are small business owners. We'll get to you too. I want you to get comfortable with removing yourself out of your job titles, right? Your worth is not in your job title or the business that you own, really. It's so much more than that. And if you're at this stage and you're thinking about pivoting or starting or changing careers, I want you to remember that you're not starting over. You're simply repackaging your experience for something more aligned. Many people underestimate how much you have gained in a previous career, and you underestimate and undermine how you can leverage that past experience to a future you. Please understand that small moves, real momentum is the goal here. A small step, again, just like I said, for early career stages, you're also compounding, and growth does not always have to look like a leap. You don't always have to be the most popular for you to feel like you're making an impact. You don't have to be the most known to feel like you're doing something with yourself. So I want you to start looking inward a bit more and learn to translate your strengths across industries or roles. The key thing that can lead to burnout is when you find yourself constantly doing things that you have no joy or that don't bring you any form of satisfaction. Now, you also need to get comfortable with understanding exactly where you want to play. This is the point where you really, really, really go deep on finding your ikigai, an intersection of the thing that you're good at, the thing that excites you, the thing that solves a problem, the thing that makes money. This is the part where you need to look inward. But it comes from experimenting, it comes from asking questions, it comes from looking around your circle and surrounding yourself with people that have done the kind of thing that you've done before, right? So take the time as well, especially if you're looking to transition, audit your skills, your CV, your things like that, and just let them reflect where you're going, not just where you've been, right? I will move on and share something else and where I was a couple of years ago with respect to my mid career. So in 2020, I was at this point where I was working as an operations manager, but I felt like because I was doing so many things, I felt like I didn't know how I could translate these skills. And so again, I surrounded myself with someone who helped me revise my CV and just improve. And in talking, she really, really helped me to lean into my experience. And at the end of the day, I realized I was already doing so much for my next phase. I didn't just recognize it, right? This is sometimes how you can feel in your mid career if you don't take the time to look inwards and just, draw out what have you learned? What have you gained so far? What do people say that you're good at? One hack, especially if you work somewhere where they do performance reviews. Don't focus on the performance reviews from your manager. Focus on those 360-degree feedback, the ones where people can give you feedback without, you know, people can give you feedback without feeling like the people that give you feedback when they're not the ones responsible for your promotion. Those can give you a lot more unbiased feedback, right? Recommendations. When you ask people, how did I do? What did I do? Can you write me a recommendation? All of those things are signals. Take that and use it to draw within. You know what's funny? A lot of the times, the signals are all around you. You just may not see it. The signals are always, always, always around you. And I want you to, I think the biggest thing I'll ask that you take away from this is that you open your eyes to start seeing. Don't underestimate the things people are saying to you. I want you to start seeing the things that people are saying. For example, I'm going to move away from this part of my screen and move on to something on my LinkedIn that I saw when I was preparing for this. And it was just one line that I want to emphasize. So this is 2017. Remember that what I was showing you was in 2020. This person says, I've known me for a while, yada, yada, yada. Her interpersonal and communication skills have helped her do this. And she possesses solid writing skills, which have enabled her to compose quality correspondence. I didn't always think I was a writer. I didn't always think it was good. I didn't even think much of this recommendation. But in the past couple of years, I've leaned in more into this person who uses her interpersonal and communication skills to develop productive work relationships. And he was right. It's, over 8 years in the making, and everything that he wrote here is actually true. So this is why I said this person has no hand in my promotion. So they're not writing just because, they want to make me feel like a really, really they want to make me feel better than myself and things like that. They really are just writing. So I want you to lean into asking those kind of questions from the people around you as well. It would really, really help you figure out your strengths, especially when you're thinking about it. But know that at this stage, you're already doing so much and you just need to lean in more. And now, finally, we'll be senior career people. I wanted to just start off with laying in this background and helping you reframe where you're at so that you can at least understand what you need to be doing at this phase of your life. If you're in your senior career stage, you've probably worked for 8 to 10 years, sometimes even 12 years, and there might be some sort of tug on the inside of you where you're feeling like you're going through an identity shift. You're probably in a leadership position and you're probably now exploring multi-passionate paths like me, and you might be keen about finding ways to give back or build a legacy. There's just a few things I'd say. I want you to start to redefine success on your own terms. Sometimes success doesn't necessarily mean the next big promotion or the next big job title or the next big job at a really, really top company. So get comfortable with redefining what success for you means, right? What exactly do you want to be known for? Look at your life and your career as so much more than just bringing in money into your, your house or whatever. Think about your career as so much more than a paycheck. And if you're comfortable with it, one of the biggest ways to find career satisfaction is to give back. You've already been doing this for so many years, so leverage your platform, mentor people, consult, build. These are many other ways you can start to explore your skills, explore your strengths, and really reinvent yourself. And very feel comfortable, very much so, to earn your identity outside of your job title. You might be the VP of XYZ at work, you might be the head of ABC at work, but sometimes you might be doing these things and they may not even bring you joy. So, if you've gotten comfortable and you already understand the places where you find strength and you find joy, please lean into that as well. And most importantly, create space to reconnect with parts of you beyond your work. Find time for your friends, find time to jump around with your family, with your rest. This is not to say that anybody not in the senior career stage can't do this, but sometimes at this stage of your senior career, you're doing so much, making way too many decisions all at once. This one I relate to so much, and it's so important that you find ways to replenish yourself so that you don't burn out and so that you don't suddenly just explode and break, right? So at this point, you're redefining what's possible. This and more is why I started writing. This is why I coach, because I'm at this point where I just want to build a legacy. So I hope that kind of helps you reframe where you're at. I'll pass it over to Isaac right now, and then we'll just go deeper into the session. Thank you.
Okay, guys. I would like you to leave a few emojis so far. What's Wamide? I mean, she has spent about, I mean, the past 20, 25 minutes talking about different stages of career growth, what you need, what you need to do. I mean, she's clearly patched. And I just want to leave in the chats what you've picked up so far, what's landing for you, what you've understood so far, how you're feeling about the session 25 minutes in, let's know. Let's get some feedback. Like I said, this is not a monologue or a conversation between Isaac and Wamide. I want everyone to be part of this. I want everyone to leave a comment, talk about how they're feeling. Let's get some audience feedback, people. Oh yeah, yeah. She's really soft spoken. She has this African auntie vibe to her. Like, I'm advising you, but at the same time, please do what I'm telling you to do. you know, guy, yeah. Very, very important, right? Building, repositioning your story. Yes, that's very important too. Building compoundable skills. Yeah, stack them one on top the other, right? Like a house. Multiple story buildings, multiple story skills. Importance of people in your circle. Yeah, environment is very important. The people around you, people you can learn from, very important. Defining success on your own terms. Yes, because you cannot depend on society's definition of success for yourself. You have to define it for you. What does it look like, right? Connected with every stage. Okay. Retelling my story and packaging my skills. Yeah, that's very important. Ask contemporaries for authentic feedback. Yeah, the people around you, the people who do the same thing that you do, be able to take another look at what you are doing and give you feedback. Very true. Understand where you want to be. Very important. Positioning your story. Yeah, a lot of us have done great things, but we don't really package it and position it properly. Ellie is unique. Yeah, she was once in your shoes. Yeah, asking people that are not responsible asking people that are not responsible for your promotion. Yeah, especially when they have no you have no expectation of them. Yeah, their feedback is typically very, very honest. Building a network of people that would help. Yeah, very important. Yeah, experiment boldly. Yeah, early career, very important. I understand shoes. I got it. You said shoes. I understand it was shoes. Who's not guy? Yeah, very important. Focus on your skills. Very important. Build at the early stage. Know where you are, move forward from there, build your skill stack, very important. Pay attention to things that drain you. Yeah, negative energy, stay far away. You get right. Provide answers to yourself. Don't be pressured. Yeah, there is no pressure in this world, man. Everybody just take it easy, move at your pace, step on the gas, gain clarity, and do as much as you can without draining yourself. Redefining your story. Yeah, put yourself out there, finding a path where you can grow. All these are important. Experimenting boldly. You see, I used to say that audacity is free. It is the most free thing in this world. Anybody we get mind, if you do anything, apologies if you don't understand pigeon. Audacity is free. If you have the mind and the courage, you can do it. Okay, I can see that we are engaged and and we are in the chats, we are understanding, we are following, we are taking notes, and yeah, that's good to go. Okay, so Wamide, I'm just going to send it back to you now to move on to the next step of yeah. So we received a lot of questions, right? A lot of questions, and I appreciate that you guys sent it in. And when Wamide was reviewing it, she decided to put them into core themes, core categories. So the first category was clarity and direction. So if a lot of people did not know what to do next, right? And my dad would tell me that it is better to know where you're going than to just start going. Because if you just start going, you can land anywhere. Like they'll say, you don't carry where I know, right? So you can land in a place where you don't know. So clarity is very important. The second question category that we found was transitioning and pivoting, right? So people want to change careers, people want to try new things, and they don't know what to do next. And I understand just how confusing that can be, where you have been doing something all your life, and all of a sudden you want to do something different. And you're like, okay, what's the first step, right? Then, of course, confidence, doubt, and internal roadblocks. Everything begins in the mind. The mind is the most powerful place, right? So, dealing with confidence, dealing with doubt, dealing with internal roadblocks. Then, of course, growth, positioning, and opportunity access. If you have all the talents in the world and nobody gives you the stage to express those talents, it's very difficult to actually show that you can do what you say you can do. So that's also a very big category that we noticed. Then, getting overwhelmed, burnt out, and self-identity. It's very easy, especially a lot of young people in their early and middle stage, and even in the later stages of it, and the when you've become really known at what you do, it's very easy to get burnt out. I personally suffered from this about 2 weeks ago. Wamide knows about this. I got so tired. I was exhausted, and it was reflecting in my work, right? And then, of course, self-identity. Who am I? What do I stand for? How do all these things all link together? And then, of course, multifaceted passions and side paths. If you're a multi-creative person or someone who can do multiple things, that in itself can be a distraction if you don't know the right thing to do. So these are the categories that we are we identified, and Wamidi is just going to take time to go over each of these things and answer the broad questions that were asked, and then afterwards, the next phase is where we then go into a ask me anything, where you guys can unmute yourself and ask questions one by one, and we can begin to talk. So, Wamide, please take it from me.
All right, all right, all right. So if you're feeling like in a place where you're not sure what next, you're asking. So we've got a couple of pre-submitted questions. Again, shout out to everyone for feeling comfortable to share as much context and questions as possible. So a couple of people had asked and said, "Where am I going from here?" Right. Someone else had said, "I feel stuck. I'm forced to stay where I am at. But because I have bills to pay, but I don't even know where I want to switch to." When I think about what's next, I always think about it like driving. I like to use analogies a lot because I'm one of those people who would say our day to day lives actually show us things about life in general. So if you were driving somewhere, there are many ways to get there. Say you were going from, let me see, what would most people be able to relate with? So you were going from somewhere on the mainland to somewhere on the island. There's many ways to get there, right? For example, a while back they blocked, was it Third Mainland Bridge also, and I didn't even know there were other paths or other places to pass until that happened. So it's kind of like that, right? You have a destination in mind, but there's always many ways to get to where you're going. But there's two most important things your start or your origin and your destination, where you're going. How you get there can look different depending on the obstacles that present itself, depending on the availability of the road, and depending on a million other factors. But the key thing is you're starting from somewhere and you're trying to go to somewhere. Most of the problems with figuring out where you're trying to go next is because sometimes you're not exactly sure where to go. And we're not saying that you have to exactly know, I want to be the next, I don't know, Bill Gates in 20 years or something. That's not what we're saying here. But you should have a sense of, remember when I asked you earlier, what is your dream? What do you want to do? And we're just going to build small steps to help you get there. We're going to build small paths to help you get there. So I want you to start by identifying what is not working. A key component of figuring out where you want to go next has to do with looking inwards. Use tools like journaling, values mapping, career audit. You know how when I was talking about your strengths and things you sometimes underestimate, right? That it can come from people around you. I want you to reposition that here and think about the things that you have always wanted to do, that dream that you wrote in the beginning. Ask yourself if you are doing anything to get there. So if you're trying to figure out where should I go from here, just look at where you are, where you're starting from, and let's see the destination. That's the first step. Then you also need to then figure out your why. Why are you trying to do this thing? Because when all is said and done, look, I did explain that there's many ways to get to where you're trying to go because we're not all going to go through the same experiences. You all went to uni and went to school with people, and there might be a lot of photographers coming out of your class. There might be a lot of programmers that may have come out of your class. There might be a lot of product designers that might have come out of your class, but everybody does not have the same experience. So we're all going to go through path and go through these things differently. The key thing is when you recognize where you are at, figure out, is this thing aligning with my goals? And just redefine from there. So start with your start, your end. Then I need you to figure out your why. I want to do this because I want to make more money or blah 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 blah. Whatever that looks like, you need to get comfortable with identifying what that is and then figure out what the gap is. Yeah, that's how I'll put it. Someone also then said, I feel stuck, but I'm forced to stay where I'm at despite not liking it because there are bills to pay. The key thing when it comes to this is a little bit like pivoting, but when it comes to this is feel comfortable with exploring without perfect clarity. Feel comfortable to take small steps, right? Feel comfortable to find other ways to give you joy so that you can start to identify the smaller areas you want to work out. It could be like volunteering on the weekends. It could be like doing stuff at night, right? But you can't say that you're forced to stay because you're really not taking any action. But you have to start getting comfortable taking small actions and go from there. We'll still get to where you can ask deeper questions. So I'm just going to go over this very quickly. Isaac, can you read this next one so that I can?
Okay, so the next thing, the next category of questions that we got in was about career transitions and pivots, right? So we had questions like, how do I transition from my current role? We had questions like, thinking of switching careers but don't want to start from scratch. So, Wamide, how would you answer, respond to questions around this thing?
Okay, so if you're thinking about transitioning, first thing is to change your mindset. You're never starting from scratch. When you're transitioning, you're never starting from scratch. Agreed, maybe you're going from product design to product marketing. It seems like two completely different things, but in reality, you're not starting from scratch. Here's why. You've gathered a lot of experience from this, your product design skills or whatever. It could be the way you work, it could be how you take answers or reflect around the things that have come your way. It could be the way you research. It could be the way you give feedback. All of those things are skills that are going to become useful for your new role in product marketing. But the practical thing to do here is just like I said earlier, what is your end goal? Where are you going to? I want to do ABC. I want to do XYZ. When I say where are you going to, I'm not necessarily saying that you have to be clear about the title. You have to be clear. There are many ways to figure out what your end goal is. Sometimes it looks like just asking yourself what matters to me now. For example, in 2020, after I had done that thing with that person, the next year, I then had a baby. And so it gave me a lot of time to be by myself. And I started to realize, you know what, I didn't want to do this job anymore. So I did a career audit. First of all, asking myself what I had done and gathered over the years. There's something I want to say in that very many times I think I've said it before, where I said you underestimate what you've already learned in a previous role. But here's also the thing: the fact that you were bored at a job or that you didn't like your role, it does not mean you didn't do any work. It does not mean you didn't learn any skill. There's a lesson in every single story. There's a lesson in every single thing that you go through. So start off with doing a career audit. What have you even learned so far? Right? That career audit will guide you because you start to identify the themes, the common themes, where you figure out what you've learned across all these different roles. Every single place that you've worked at has really given you an opportunity to stack your skills. Then start to figure out what matters to you. So, like I said, it may not be clear where you can say, I want to go from product design to product marketing, and that's okay. Yours can look like just thinking about what the organization looks like. For example, I want to work at a place where my voice is heard. That's more than enough for you to want to leave where you are right now to move to somewhere else. It could look like I want to work somewhere where there's no bureaucracy. Because where you are, you're trying to move for a reason. So also pinpoint that why. I want to move because so and so and so. There's a joke that I said to some of my one-on-one clients where I say, you need to identify your 13 reasons why. Your 13 reasons why is basically why you hate where you are at. So that it helps you, invert what you want to see differently. So if you already know why you hate where you're at, then you can say, this is where I want to go. So I hate being somewhere where we're marrying. I hate poor decision making. Of course, where you want to go is somewhere where decisions are clear, decisions are fast, decisions are this and that and that. So figure out your why, do a career audit because that career audit will help you identify what you already know how to do, what you don't like, and kind of where you want to go. And then identify your gap. What does it take to get to where you want to go? What can you do? What are your transferable skills? Don't undermine any skill. Every skill does not have to be technical. Your organizational skills are useful. Your project management skills are useful. Your problem solving skills are useful. Your question skills, if you're the one that likes to ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, lean into it. That's the best thing that can happen to you for your career. And then just take a chance on yourself. Lean into your network. Ask people around. People are trying to start stuff. People are trying to figure stuff out. People are looking for people that are going to bring solutions to them. You may already have that solution and may not even know it. So, what is it that already comes naturally to you is what you're trying to lean into here. But most importantly, you want to also carry other people along just by applying yourself. Reach out, ask questions, volunteer. Don't be afraid to experiment. But remember, when you're pivoting, you're never starting from scratch.
Wow. When you're pivoting, you're never starting from
Scratch.
scratch, right? Okay, so this next category is, I think it's very very important because everything begins on the inside, right? The confidence, the doubt, the internal roadblocks. And someone asked the question that I always get comments around how I'm good at what I do, but the said things feel basic and I don't see what they see. I'm also unable to leverage set skills to get into the organizations and roles I love to. Additionally, I've been thinking if it's a good time to go for an advanced degree. Now in my early 30s, will it be worth it? This is a very long question, but I completely get where this person is coming from. Right? The second question says, can someone like me who didn't take top honors really compete for the best opportunities? Now, this is also another good one that a lot of people didn't get it, like maybe first class. They think, oh, will I actually get the opportunity? And it's more of a, it's not really a question of skill. Is a question of mindset, right? So doubts is a question of internal roadblocks. Is a question of indecisions, right? And I want Wamide to actually take a time to answer this one because I know that's something a lot of us at almost every career stage we all go through it or are going through it. So Wamide.
Okay. So Someone said somewhere, I read somewhere, confidence is like a muscle. The more you train it, the more you get comfortable flexing it or using it. There's no man that I've seen, and even woman, myself inclusive, and I'll get to it because me, I've been working on summer body. And there's nobody that I would see that goes to the gym, that exercises, that, does their diets, they do all of those things, and they won't feel comfortable flexing it. The day to wear short dress, I will wear it. The day to wear tank top, the men they will wear it because they want you to see those biceps that they've been building. That's exactly how confidence is. Sometimes you don't even realize you're growing in it until somebody looks at you and says, "Ah, look, your, quads are looking really good, or your muscles are looking really toned, or your skin is looking really pink." That's how confidence is here. It starts, see, if you think you can't, you're right. If you think you can, you are right. But I'm hoping that you can, exactly, I'm hoping that you can take this and say that I can. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. I assure you. Everything that you want is on the other side of fear. And it's just a small wall. It's not even as high as you think. The wall is really short. Trust me. If you lived in any of those fences where they used to jump, I used to jump when I was growing up, and just look, you realize that after you've done it a couple of times, it doesn't look as high as it used to look anymore. So the wall is really, 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 it's not as high as you think. That fear wall, you're gonna need to comfortable climb over it and just get out and just get out and just get out. Now, to the person who says, people say I'm good at this, but these things feel basic. Welcome to my world. I showed you earlier how, there's interpersonal skills and communication skills and whatnot and whatnot. The moment you start to lean into the things people say that you're good at, you're in for a treat. Because those things already come to you naturally. In 2021, when I did a career audit, the final thing I came to conclusion was that I really wanted to just be in a job that allowed me to be my best self, where I didn't feel like I was working. And what did that look to me at that point? That I could work remotely, that I could decide on my hours, that I had more agency. If people are saying that you're good at something, but you don't see what they see, I beg you, you need to start seeing what they are seeing. And do you know you can ask questions? Someone told me this morning, "Oh, Wamide, all the best with the AMA. Go and be your best self, Kiniko, blah, blah, blah." I asked her, what does it mean to be my best self to you? Because I wanted to be sure that this person was seeing things I was seeing, or vice versa. So get comfortable with asking people deeper questions. If people say that, you're good at organizing, ask them exactly what it is. The reason is because organizing is such a broad skill, and you haven't taken the time to really understand that the parts that is different, then please try to surround yourself with somebody that does not know how to organize. Then you will know that your skill is very important. Very, very, very important. Because we're not all the same as people, right? We're not all the same. And if you come from like a family where you're not the only child or whatever, you would know that even you and your siblings, you're not the same. Growing up, I like to wake up and take in the environment. My sister likes to wake up and talk. Already two different people, but still gonna thrive whichever ways. Something as basic as that. I'm just trying to say, when you surround yourself with other people who don't know the things that you're doing. I have a friend we call her like a grain, she makes lists. There was a time she was traveling and she had a list of all the clothes in her wardrobe. I thought I was organized. Then I finally knew, oh, sorry, ma, not exactly. That skill, she can leverage it for something else. So, first, maybe find people around you that don't already do the things that you know how to do, but also ask people deeper questions. If someone says you're good at organizing, ask them exactly what they liked about it so that it really, really, really helps you appreciate that skill that you're taking for granted And in doing this, you start to see what they see. God has put people around us to sometimes open up our eyes to see the things that we may not typically recognize. Now, when you say the second part is a second part in this question, because it says you're not able to leverage said skills to get into the organizations and roles you'd love to, I want you to reverse your strategy. Instead of trying to position your skills for the work, position what the company and organization needs for your skills. So your exercise one is leaning into and appreciating your skills, because until you see yourself as valuable, as important, as making a difference, other people won't help you see that. And then next, take the JDs first of all. What companies do you want to work at? What are the JDs? What are the things that they require? And then understand how to position your story for that. Then you also say, you asked a lot of questions here. Oh. You are thinking if it's a good time to go for an advanced degree. If you think it gets you, again, the key question here is what is your why? If you think it helps you move from point A to point B, by all means do it. What does early 30s have to do with it? Whether you're early 30s or early 40s, it doesn't matter. I'm probably still going to get a degree at some point, another degree, my third degree. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm not doing it for people, I'm doing it for me. If I'm curious about something, I'm going to go after knowledge and find it. It has nothing to do with the person on the other side that is not even thinking about you. So please do this for you. Do this for the future you. Think about yourself in 3 years. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Close your eyes and think about that person. What would you regret not taking or doing now? And do it for that person. But remember, confidence is like a muscle. You have to train, you have to flex, and you will finally get comfortable. Somebody also asked, someone like you who didn't take top honors really compete for the best opportunities. Hmm. Okay. The way I'll say this is this, and I say this with all sense of humility, as somebody who finished with top honors, but didn't necessarily get the so-called life that people said top honors was going to bring you. When I was in uni, I studied engineering, and I remember people around me will say, if you finish with a first class, companies are going to be chasing you. Companies are going to be coming your way. It could be my own mistake. Maybe I didn't do well enough. But I'm just trying to help you see that finishing with an advanced degree or finishing with a top um, grade is not everything. There's so much more. I did finish with a top grade. I did graduate with first class honors. But you know what was not happening? Companies were not chasing me. And that was a struggle because all my life, all the 5 years I spent in uni, I went through it thinking they're going to chase me and I'm going to show the world. But guess who could not show the world because companies were not chasing her? Me. And so I had to figure out what really mattered, how to position myself, how to get into rooms and do all of those things. I'm just trying to help you see that the grass is green where you water it. The people that finished with top honors, they're also trying to figure things out. Things don't necessarily just land on their table because they finished with it. You have as much opportunities as well as they do. We're in a level playing field. There's so much more to getting the best opportunities than finishing with top honors. So don't let that ever stop you. Don't let that ever hold you back. Don't let that ever make you feel like you're not good enough because you're the best thing that happened since sliced bread. So don't worry about it.
Okay, okay, okay. She really took her time with that one, and I really think Wamide needed to. The next category is on growth, positioning, and opportunity access, right? And this is where the personal branding comes into it, right? So the questions that we had here said, I want to actually level up in my career and get paid more. I feel so underpaid. A lot of us can relate to this, especially young people, especially people in Nigeria, right? You feel like I want to earn more, 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 right? Then the next question said, how can I get into rooms that matter? What are the strategies? And I think Wamide has a lot of experience with question one and two, so she
Yeah.
can give you answers on it. Wamide?
Yeah, yeah. I'll probably even start from question two, like how do I get into rooms that matter? Um, if you're a Christian here, you've probably read and heard of the Bible verse that says that a man's gifts will make room for him, and he will stand before kings. He will not stand before mere men. When I think about getting into rooms that matter, there are rooms that I want to get into as well. But I don't think it comes by struggling or striving to get into those rooms. It starts by being the one that needs to be in that room. Think about it this way. If someone needed a solution, if you wanted to fix the AC in your room, who would you call? You're not just going to call your best friend because they're your best friend. You're going to call the AC repairman. That is the person that matters in that room. So I want you to rephrase it and think about it again. Who matters in this room? What are the rooms you want to get into? One, and who are the people that are in that room? So that you understand why they're in that room. And then work towards being a person that can be in that room. Be a person that brings solutions. Be a person that shows up. Be a person that leads. Be a person that gives back. You get into rooms that matter by being a person that matters. I hope that helps. Now, I want to thank you, Toluani. I want to actually level up in my career and get paid more. I feel so underpaid. If there's anybody that has never felt underpaid, I really hail you. I felt underpaid. And the first step is being aware. Being aware that you are already underpaid. Now, there's two levels and two ways to go about it. You have to take both a you have to take a logical and practical approach towards this. For example, if you say you feel underpaid, what do you actually want to be paid? So do your research and check out the pay scales, benchmarks in your industry, benchmarks for your role, so that you can eventually understand what exactly you should be earning. Because until you hit that mark, you will constantly feel underpaid. So you need to bear in mind, but do your research and understand what is it that I want to be paid for this role. And then number two is the part, really, the work that needs to be done. I always give an example where I say that if you wanted to have your wedding and you had a cousin that just started learning to bake cake, and she said she wanted to help you with your wedding cake, and she wasn't going to take a dime, but you hadn't seen her work, you're probably not going to hire her, even though she said she was going to do it for free. So in reality, she's being underpaid. But you're not even going to be comfortable underpaying her because you haven't seen proof of her work. It's kind of the same thing here. You need to show proof of work. Oh, you need to show proof of work, right? So if you say you want to level up in your career, start working towards the next level. While I was at PwC, which is the big four consulting firm I worked at, in the performance grading system, there's a level that they had where you could be performing to expectation. I hope I can remember it. You could be performing above and beyond, something like that. Perform above and beyond. How to level up starts by showing that you're ready for the next level, right? Seek opportunities, say yes, take up roles, take ownership, and then switch jobs. One of the best ways to get paid higher is to move. You are not a tree, don't stay stuck. Leave the place. Having all those questions of, please, I've been working, and you're bringing on your receipts and saying, I've been doing this, and I've done this, and I did this last year, but it's just English. Oh, please switch jobs. It will get you to where you want to be faster. It's not that deep, especially if that's your why. So, three key things: figure out what the benchmark is so that you know what you're going towards. Remember, always have that destination in mind. Then, two, you yourself, what are you bringing to the table? Level up where you are at right now. That you want to switch does not mean you're going to be the most irresponsible person where you are at. Just show value where you're at now, but go above and beyond. That is how you level up. If your cousin eventually if she decided, if you said, no, I'm not hiring you, But then maybe for your bridal shower or for your bachelorette party, sorry, this might only relate to the girls. You she eventually says, "Let me just bake something for you for free. Test it." And she made lots of lovely cupcakes and you all enjoyed it and all. You will probably now hire her maybe for your birthday coming up next time or for the naming ceremony. That's actually what it means to go above and beyond, right? You're not waiting for someone to say, Isaac, do this. You're actually going above and beyond and then showing. So that's how you create opportunities that help you level up in your career. And please switch jobs again. I see. Switch jobs. Feel free.
job hop, switch jobs. Okay, so this next one is particularly applicable to someone like me, right? And this one and the next one, right? And this one says, it's we are speaking about getting overwhelmed and burnout and identity, right? And it speaks about being emotionally exhausted or getting so attached to your work it takes over your life and you begin to see yourself as one and the same with your work, right? And the question says here, the two questions says, I need help figuring out how to pick myself up again. I don't know what I am doing. That's that's like Gen Z's, I would say, too real, like very, very real, right? The next question also says, I think I've attached my identity to my job title. I'm thinking this is job title too much. So Wamide, you are not Gen Z, obviously you are above all of us, right? But you you can relate to this too. So I wanted to give advice and
I
answer
can,
questions in this
I can, I can
today.
relate to it because I always seem to pile on much more than I can chew. I'd simply say, because just being mindful of time, please separate your self worth from your job title. One of the hardest things I did and had to come to terms with when I left the Big Four, which was a big part of my identity, was going to school abroad for a master's and going to a place where no one knew me. It didn't even matter my name. I grew up in Ibadan and a couple people know like my dad's name and things like that. And you will often feel like, yeah, yeah, people know me. But I basically went to this place where nobody knew me, nobody knew my history, nobody knew anything about me. I had to reinvent myself and really come to terms with myself again. I think everybody has to go through that sort of transition journey and internal work where you separate your work title, your job title from your self identity. It comes sometimes in exploring and putting yourself in places where people don't naturally know you. Do you want to go for a play, join a book club? Just find other ways to build expression for yourself, and maybe try not to introduce yourself with your job title. If someone says, what do you do, instead of saying I'm a manager at Facebook or at Meta, you can find something else to say, especially if you think you've connected to too much to your identity. And then if you're burnt out, please rest. Please rest. I say this and I say it to myself as well because sometimes I don't know how to rest, but I'm learning. Sometimes it's about putting your phone down. I have a day in the month where it is no social media day for me. I have some other times, I've gone 3 days without turning on my phone before. There are many ways that you need to figure out rest for yourself. I outsource, I delegate. So please rest, reinvent yourself, and find ways to reignite your energy. What are you doing on the weekends? Are you still looking at that um, Excel sheet from work? Better stop it. Or you're looking at your emails, or you're looking at this and that. Please stop it. Do something else on the weekend. Go out, touch grass. Literally, touch grass. It will do a lot to you. Touch the railing, spread yourself in the sun. Go for a walk. I know if you're living in Lagos, it can be a bit whatever, but go to a movie. Do something, please. Go to your friend's place. Cook. Just do something else. Wash your parents' car. Whatever it is, just do something else. But I'm talking to a lot group of people, so just do something else. Find other ways to just reignite energy for yourself, and little by little, it'll start to come. Also, understand that sometimes it takes time, so it's not like immediately you're gonna feel, but give yourself grace to find that person on the inside and just go from there.
Okay, so we have finally arrived at the last category of questions, and this one is for the multi-creatives, people who can do multiple things, right? And I have a personal experience with this. But today is not the day to share it. But the idea is to for the for the people that don't fit in, you've never felt like you fit in. People who have multiple passions, multiple skill sets, multiple things that they can do, multiple things that they're actually good at, and they have evidence of it, right? Like did this person here, this question here says, I have multiple interests: project management, songwriting, podcasting, counseling. Wow. Okay. But fear, resources, and uncertainty hold me back. How do I navigate the coming years? This is very real. The fear, the resources, the uncertainty, very real. The second question says, I've started a media brand and love marketing, but I got a scholarship in cybersecurity. I feel torn. Can I do both? Hmm. Wamide, I will let you
Deep
take over on this.
questions. That's like, I wish you all the best. Okay, so multiple interests. This one, I would just put it like you're making. We'll use cooking because, like I said, I like to use analogies. So you're making fried rice, you're making a pot of soup. You're not going to put all the ingredients at once now. If you do that, it'd be like say you just dey learn, right? So you probably start with frying, and then you put your onions, you saute it, and then you put your pepper mix, and then you put your broth, and then you mix and put your, and then your soup is ready. That's how you use your multiple interest. I'm a multi-potentialite myself, but you can't do everything at once. You can't do everything at the same time. Secondly, it's not every skill that you have to monetize. I like to sing. I'm singing in my house. I don't have a recording studio or whatever. Who knows? In 10 years, I might decide that I want to start singing globally and whatnot. But give yourself room to build something and go from there. Don't try to do everything at once. Don't try to do everything at once. That's the biggest way to not do anything. So take it one step at a time. What is the fastest path, for example, to making money? Or what is the path that gives you the most joy? You might want to start from there. If you're already working a job, stick to that. Maybe it's in project management and leverage it. Secondly, is that it's not every skill that has to make it into like a job. For example, I'm good at project management as well, but I would be absolutely bored if project management was the only thing I was doing every day. Like if I had an actual project manager job. So what did I do? I looked at all the other things that I'm good at: strategy, project management, operations, partnerships, and mixed that up into a career for myself, right? That way, I get to use some of these other skills and not just project management. But the reason why I stand out is that when there is a big picture or big task ahead, I'm able to break it down into small, actionable steps. And so I'm a powerful operator or executor. So you don't have to use every single skill because you also have to recognize that starting is not always the answer to everything. That you're good at podcasting does not mean you have to do it now. You kind of have to ask yourself, like, what is it that I'm trying to do that other people don't have? For example, is podcasting really, really the thing you should be doing now? Is counseling really, really the thing you should be doing now? For example, if you're 20 years old, why should you be counseling? Right? You can do it with your friends, but you don't have to make it a job. Maybe in 5 years or in 6 years or in 10 years, you can now go deeper and become a coach. And people will be like, where did this person come from? But you've been practicing all these years, right? So don't do everything at once. It's the simple thing I'm just going to say here. Lean into it, but don't do everything at once on the same level. So some you can give like 80%, some you can give like 10% and on like that. And then the person said, I started a media brand and I love marketing, but I got a scholarship in cybersecurity. Now you apply for the scholarship. Oh. Now you apply. So for this one, I don't have enough context, and maybe we'll start to get into all of the contextual questions now. Is there a way that you can apply for something else? Because you also don't have to do things. It's great that you got a scholarship, really, really good on you. But think about how it really, really impacts and affects what you're trying to do. I would like to think that getting a degree in like data science, which you may or may not like, might probably be more useful to you in this role as a marketing executive than cybersecurity. Except, of course, again, there are many ways to the market. Except, of course, you now decide at some point that I can decide I want to do cybersecurity, I can do marketing for cybersecurity firms. That's another way that you can leverage this cybersecurity skill if you decide to go for it. But maybe this is the part where we kind of just open the floor so we can get deep into the questions.
Okay, guys. Wamidi has spent a lot of time answering questions, speaking on category C, and the next phase that I want us to go into is the dialogue, like the open mic audience questions. So if you have a question, you can either put it in the chat, right? So we are going to make this as concise as possible, right? So you will just tell us where you are in your career right now, any of the three stages that we covered in the beginning, right? So early stage 0 to 3, and your middle stage between like three to five, and then late, okay, 3 to 7 middle stage, and then 8 years plus the um advanced stage, right? So you tell us which stage you are in, and then you tell us what your the question that you have on your mind, and Wamide would give an answer. So you can put it in the chat, or if you'd like, I actually think I would like, or you can raise your hand. But if you're raising your hand, please do not take too long with your question, so we can give answer as many questions as possible. We have about 40 minutes to do this, or 45 minutes to do this. So let's make it count. So we have one hand raised up already. This person didn't even let me finish my hello. Oh, two hands now. Okay, so Bukola was the first person, and then oh Jesus, Israel was the next. Then I'm seeing a few hands, so I'll get to everybody. So Bukola, can you go first?
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Wamide. It's been an amazing session so far. So my question is this. Okay, so earlier in the year, right? I'm sorry. My name is Bukwa and I think I'm in the mid-career, phase at about 5 years now. I've been doing marketing. So earlier this year, I've been doing social media and content marketing mostly. So earlier this year, I was feeling stuck. I felt like I've outgrown where I was, but I just didn't know like what to go into. And then it seemed like the next ideal thing was like, oh, go into product marketing, you can try digital marketing, you can this, you can that. I don't know, but for some reasons, I just feel like I'm tired of marketing in general. I don't want to do marketing. I mean, I like marketing. It has gotten me here, but yeah. So I was thinking, well, since I still like products, I still like to build, I still like to communicate what's it called, brands to the audience. I was thinking more in the line of maybe product management. Yeah. So I just don't know like what exactly do I need to figure out, what exactly do I need to do or outline just to, confidently enter into this next step that I'm trying to get into.
Okay.
Okay. What? Okay. Okay. So I would like us to get a few questions in, maybe like 4 or 5 questions, and then so Wamide can answer all at once.
Okay.
Yes. So Israel, can you go next?
Okay, thank you, Wamide. So my question is this: while I was still at school, I think doing my internship, I had the privilege of working in industry, so I kind of like liked the setup of industry, the opportunities it provides. But currently, I'm a graduate assistant at a university, and I'm doing research currently. So at this point in my life, I'm kind of torn between industry or academia. So I'm seeking clarity in that area. So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Israel. Next person that raised up his hand was Oluwayenka. Can you please go next? Oluwayenka, are you speaking? We can't hear you. Can you raise your volume, please?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Oh, good, good. So my name is Oluwarinka, mid-career. So my question is, okay, so I relocated from Nigeria. While I was in Nigeria, I worked in financial services in the bank, and I was like in a leadership position. But yeah, relocating, I've had the opportunity to also work in financial services, and not necessarily like I'm interested in leadership, to be honest. I'm not interested in managing people, but I'm just trying to go from this very entry level kind of, roles or opportunities into something more like mid at least or senior level, more like an individual collaborator. So, and it's just been, I don't know how to explain it. It's been very difficult for me to transfer that experience I've had, like managing teams, like operations and stuff like that, because I was head of customer service when I was in Nigeria, into like transferring into where I am now, like in Canada. I know I have the skills, and I heard everything that Wamide was saying about like packaging your skills, and like moving, like trying to like see how it aligns with wherever it is that you're going now. But for some reason, I don't know if it's a mind block or head or brain block, but it's just been really difficult. So I just want her if she can like advise on like actionable steps. Like when she says audit your skills or career mapping or all of those things, I have an idea of what she's talking about, but like actionable steps, like if I'm like, okay, I want to start now, what would be the first thing that she would just like suggest for somebody to do, and then, go from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oluwayinka. Appreciate. As for Jackmine from Nigeria to Canada, don't worry. She will answer you on that one. The next question is from Dara Lawal. Please go ahead.
Everyone, hi Wamide and Isaac. My name is Dara, and I would like to say I'm senior. I'm 8 years in. I'm
Okay.
a lawyer, and my question is, in kind of two phases. I have, I know what I want to do. I know it's not exactly law. It has to do with governance and policy and building institutions. But at this point, I've accepted a role into an even more traditional legal role now because it pays a lot more. Because I've always struggled with, not being underpaid, and I've accepted this because it gives me the opportunity to do a lot of things. Money matters, but it also means that all of these dreams that I have might have to you know go for a little bit. So I just want to ask for idea and for advice and guidance on how I can navigate the season without losing sight of my brother purpose and my goals, and even when it feels so uncertain, because even all of the dreams that I have, um it's not I'm not there yet, but where I am currently is closer to getting me there, but then I'm moving to something more traditional. And yeah, thank you very much.
When you say you're moving into something more traditional, what do you mean? Can you give us more context?
Okay, so I mean, I currently work in a non-for-profit that's in the
Okay.
advocacy space, but I work as a lawyer there. But I want to do proper advocacy, and being in this organization, I'm closer to doing that because I get to hear all of what they do, and I can lean into that if I stay. But the money is not that great. But moving into a financial legal role now, that's just being a proper lawyer, and I've accepted that because it actually pays a lot more. And it just breaks this barrier that I've been experiencing for years, complaining about being underpaid and underpaid and underpaid. So that's what I mean.
Okay. Family, did you get that?
Yeah, the
Okay.
emphasis
So
on the paid more is. I'm almost like Dara. What were they paying you? What are they paying you now?
okay, so we have four questions so far. I would let Wamide answer all of them, then we'll take another set. So Wamide, please go ahead
Okay.
from question
And
one.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm answering your question, please feel free to ask or provide more context. So I'll probably start with Dara, um, and then I'll just go through the other ones randomly as well. So just so I understand, you've worked at like advocacy law for a while because you want to do policy governance and this is what you like, but because that doesn't necessarily pay your bills, you are now looking to move into a traditional lawyer, wear your wig, go to court role? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so my current role is legal, but it's in an advocacy based institution. So I'm not actually doing the advocacy that I want to do. I discovered that passion in this organization. So the traditional role is not go to court, it's still in house, but
Okay.
it's in a financial institution where you just
Okay, so it's still legal counsel, but just industry stringent.
yes, exactly.
Okay, okay. So I don't think you're far off from where you're trying to be. I don't think it's as far away or as grim as you think it is. Like I said, every experience counts in many ways possible. Every experience always counts. If governance, policy, advocacy is what you're looking to do, and something that you even found out whilst you were working at another institution, then you should just have like a plan. Time yourself at this financial institution that you're at. Let's say, for example, you were earning 200,000 naira before, and now this one pays you 1 million naira or something of that sort. Then time yourself. Say, I want to work here for the next 2 years. But most importantly, find the organizations that are in advocacy that will pay well. I see governance and policy roles all the time, and being a legal counsel is not the only way to actually express your legal skills. Sometimes it's a mix of legal policy, governance. There's something else that's skipping my mind now, something about public policy or something of that sort. So, where you are at right now, can you try to just build your own exit plan? I know you're just getting in, but build an exit plan where you can say, for the next 2 years, these are the skills I want to learn. Look, the one thing that has held me down where I work now is knowing my own reason for joining. Yes, money can be a factor, but what are the things that you want to learn as well? So that when these opportunities get thrown at you, you don't look at it as, "You people are stressing me." Instead, you remember that you have a plan, and that's why you are in this current role right now. So I want you to just build a plan where you are at. You can start off with looking at governance and policy roles in organizations that you want to work at. I know most of the fan companies have this kind of role. So if you look at the JDs, try to understand what are the skills, what are the responsibilities, what are the things I need to learn, and translate ways to learn those where you are at. So in 2 years or in 1 year, you're done with it, and then you can start putting yourself and learning. So the way I'll just say it is, start with, where do I want to go next? What are they looking for? How can I learn those where I'm at right now? You might even still find ways to volunteer with other organizations that may not pay you, because now money is covered. So money is not that much of a big deal anymore, and just go from there. I hope that helps.
Totally, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just be practical about it. Be practical about your exit plan and go. Just, you'll figure out how to get out eventually. But you're not far away from where you're trying to go. So there are many ways to get to where you're trying to go, and sometimes it looks different for everyone. So don't, please, if money is important now, earn your money. But just learn and go. Okay, so I will go to Bukola next. Bukola is social media and content marketing, trying to move into product management. So let's start with where you have worked. Social media content marketing, best thing to do is identify the other skills that you may be undermining or overlooking. So, say you have, of course, doing social media posting is not the only skill when it comes to social media and content marketing. Maybe somebody really liked how you do your research. Maybe someone really liked how you told your stories. Maybe someone really liked how you researched your subjects, or researched a concept, or researched the product in talking about it. I want you to lean into other strengths that people have mentioned, and that will invariably help you figure out how you want to stand out, where you want to go. I don't know if product management is really, really, really the core thing. I will ask that you switch into. Yes, product marketing sounds like one of the easiest to switch to with these skills. But if you say you're trying to leave marketing overall, rather than just jumping into conclusion about product management, start from What do I have already? What have I learned so far? What am I really good at? What do people recognize? You'd be surprised. Maybe you would even decide, I want to go and become a podcast producer. It could be anything. There's a lot of embedded skills in things that you've already done. So I want you to just ask a lot of questions. There's something I did in 2019 where everybody I had worked with at a particular company, I took them out for lunch. And I asked them questions about me. What am I good at? What can I do better? Of course, it was not sounding selfish or whatever. It's just like, how can I be a better person at work? What do I need to do? And it revealed so much, right? For example, someone on my team told me I was micromanaging. And so I had to become a better manager. I had to learn the skills to become a better manager. So all I'm trying to say here is don't jump to conclusion about settling with product management because it's not also that simple. There's no work in this life, there's no work. Oh. So don't think you're escaping something because you might just be meeting it somewhere else. But most importantly, understand what you're already good at where you are and just figure out ways to multiply that skill in another role. I hope that helps, Buka.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sure. And if product management becomes what you really want to go for, by all means, do it. Just reskill, upskill, get a certification, join product management communities, and just go from there. Open yourself to like internship or volunteer opportunities so that you can practice your skills before you transition. All right. Israel says he did an industry internship. I don't really understand. And you're now a graduate assistant. That I understand. But you're torn between industry and academia. What's the industry?
It's more like a manufacturing firm. I was in my third year when I did the internship.
And you liked it.
So it was, yes, based on the opportunities it avails for me.
Okay, but the problem now is
Currently, I'm done with school. I'm currently serving, so my role is a graduate assistant. So I'm more fascinated by the research carried out in the institution, and I'm thinking of pursuing grad school, but I'm currently torn between um, industrialization, like going for industry work or going for graduate studies. And I kind of think of myself as someone with a short attention span, so I don't really know if I would thrive in a graduate community,
if you go into
something like that.
academia, that means you're pursuing a PhD.
A master's, PhD. I'm not sure a PhD is for me yet.
What will you do with a master's?
I don't know. I think if I can survive in a master's setting, then I'll go for a PhD.
What
So
will you
I'm
do with it?
seeking clarity.
Why do you
I'm
want
not
to do
really
the
clear on
master's?
that. Sorry,
Why do you want to do the master's?
I'm kind of torn between those two. I'm not really sure of what I want to do yet. That's just the issue.
And that's okay. So maybe my question would then be, do you have an offer in any office? For example, do you already have a conditional offer for master? Do you already have an offer letter in the industry?
No, I don't yet. No.
Start with that first. You are torn on a decision you haven't even made. I'm going to make you the feedback. You're torn on a decision you haven't even made, and there's no need to expend energy in being torn because the decision has not even actualized. So start out with applying for a master's. It doesn't take much to apply for a master's except the acceptance fee. You don't have to spread yourself thin. You can apply in two places or something like that. Manufacturing is free to apply for job. Is it not free? Apply for job first. I think when you do the two and you have your options on the table, it makes your decision making a bit more contextual. Because right now you're torn over a decision that doesn't exist yet. I don't know how to explain this, but that's the best I can come up with. Basically, there's no reason to be torn yet because you're not yet at a crossroad. You're anticipating a crossroad, and that's great. Sounds like you're a very proactive person. I like that you also enjoyed what you did in manufacturing. Honestly, there's many ways you can decide to start off working first and in 3 years you can decide to go for your master's. But who says that's why I asked you why do you want to do a master's? Like it's except there's maybe an offer on the table already, or something like that. I don't really think you should tie yourself down in overthinking this decision. So overcome your inertia and take action. Apply for a job first. If you have an offer, great. You can go for the manufacturing job because I think doing the work will expose you to a lot more than just studying the work. You've also just finished uni. So go from there. But if you happen to have a master's degree on the table and you have an offer from a university and whatnot, you can explore going for that as well. But it does sound like you've not even taken the action that's necessary yet. So the best thing I can point you to do is to just remind you to take action.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's a lot of fun.
We'll check in with you again to see where you're at in 2 months. You have to let us know if which one has happened.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Oluwayinka, our Japa sister from Nigeria to Canada, I've always found that most times it can be a little hard to translate our experience from Nigeria to other parts for several reasons. The industry terrain is just different, and sometimes it looks like people trusting that you can make this decision before you're handed these opportunities. Just remember the cake analogy that I made. So the thing that I'll ask you to do if you're looking like to move from entry level to mid is start with where you are by asking questions. The people that you already work with, the manager in your workplace, ask them the questions. Do you think I can take XYZ leadership position? Sorry, I might not be asking, I might not be saying the question the right way. You can ask this a bit more confidently, but I'd like you to have a meeting with somebody on the leadership team where you work and really ask them for feedback about you, your performance, what they thought about you taking a leadership position at some point, and things like that. That would give you better insight into the things that they think about you. Once you recognize, like, yes, I always say, like, your skills are always transferable and all of that, but once you recognize the difference between where you're coming from and where you're at, it will make a lot of difference for you. Because you've gathered some experience in Nigeria, quite all right. There might be things that they're missing or that they expect you to have here, or that they may not even know that you have here. So I want you to just try to have a conversation with the people that you already work with because they've seen you at work, they've seen you act, right? And ask them these hard questions about your leadership abilities and how they think you fare and you do at work. And depending on what they say, it can potentially help you figure out your next step of action, whether that looks like applying for another job or asking for a possible opportunity to do something. I also don't know exactly where you work, but if there was an opportunity to contribute more or take more ownership or take more responsibilities, that might be an easy way to help you break in to the non-entry level role that you're trying to break out of, or they're trying to break into rather. So Oluwayinka, is that helpful?
Yes, very. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do next is to go through the questions in the chat. A lot of them have been there for a while now. Then afterwards, we return back to everybody whose hand is raised up. Okay, so the first question here is from Miriam. She says, "I'm completing my master's degree in a field that is related to my bachelor's, but very different from my experiences in about three fields, mostly tech related. How do I combine them together? My degrees are in agric." So that's the first question. Second question says, "I've been in the production industry for 3 years as an engineer. I actually resigned to fully work on my pivot to data science and match. Oh Jesus, English don't fail me now. Machine learning, but now I'm pregnant, recently married. So how do I navigate motherhood and getting a new job?" One day should be able to answer this one very well. Then Timitaya says, Wamide said something about asking question as a skill. I want to ask, how is that a skill? So Wamide, three questions.
Okay. So Miriam, you're completing your master's degree in a field that's related to your bachelor's, but very different from the experiences in about three fields. Um, I know that there's many reasons why you may have decided to explore different experiences, right? Maybe while you were in school, you decided to take a virtual assistant job or a data science role or content role and things like that. The key thing to ask here is, what do you want, right? If you decided to take up this master's degree for a reason, I'm not sure whatever that reason is, but you really need to ask yourself the hard question of, what do I want at this point? Now, the skills that you gained in tech and whatnot, were they just to make money? Did you enjoy them? Are you looking to continue in them? There's no reason why you have to stay glued, even if you have a degree in something. There are lots of people that have degrees that they're not working in those roles. The current GMD CEO of the Nigeria Stock Exchange has a master's and a bachelor's in chemical engineering. Between chemical engineering and finance they relate? Nothing. But all the skills he learned in that role, whether it's from analyzing or exploring or whatnot, he can bring it into his role. He's the GMD and CEO, so he's definitely qualified and has had to take a few more certifications for him to be in that role. So the real question is, you, what do you want? Do you want to continue in this tech path and the things that you're currently doing? That's okay. You don't need anybody's permission to be yourself or to do the thing that you want to do. Know that maybe there's a point you can come back to your bachelor's and master's at some point. It's not a big deal, right? So please don't feel glued to it. You're not a tree, you can move. You're not a building, you can move. Yeah. Hope that helps, Miriam. Team player, you've been in the production industry. You're a real team player. This one that you have gone to carry belly. Anyway, the point here is, look, I've been where you are before. When I got pregnant, this was just like 2, 3 months after getting married. I basically said my life was over because I'm like, how do I want to do this? And because all you know and things that you hear about pregnancy is on the outside, and people make it seem like the child is going to take over your life and whatnot. Look, there's so many things you can still do while you're pregnant. I was in a fellowship program when I was pregnant. I interviewed for new roles while I was pregnant. In the end, it became a catalyst. It was not a baggage. So I want you to reframe this mindset that you are pregnant, but it is a gift in this season. It is opening you up to new seasons and new experiences. In fact, becoming a mom gave me the courage to pursue this life that I have now, because I've eventually realized I don't want to waste my life doing what I don't like. I have a child to care for, and I want to be the best mom to my child. So I want you to lean into the season that you're in. You're now pregnant, it's a gift, it's not a curse. And when it comes, the best way to navigate motherhood and getting a job is also to start talking through these things with your partner. Get comfortable with knowing that it might be tough. But and when I say tough, it's just like because you are going through a lot of different experiences all at the same time. But having the support of your partner would make a ton of difference in the world for you. So start thinking about creating support systems. It doesn't also look like just your partner, of course, because your partner might also have a full-time job. But at least if they come back and it's not as if where's my food is all they're asking all the time, it will really, really help you. So have a support system as well. Like, I'm not sure what your family setup is like. If you have mom, parents, people that can be around you, if you can have a nanny, a crutch, think about those things instead. But motherhood is not supposed to stop you. It should, in fact, launch you into a different experience. There's a reason why you resigned. Maybe it was a bit hard to cope with your pregnancy at this point. And if you're trying to pivot into data science and machine learning, the real question is why, right? Is this a formal thing? Just, you know what, this is the next best thing? Or is it, I'm taking a break from my career because this is how I'm feeling? There's no skill you can't learn. So I'm not trying to discourage you and saying resigning or pivoting is not a good idea. I just want you to connect first with your why than the how. Now, if you're clear that data science and machine learning is really something that you think you can explore, please give yourself grace. Are you already learning something? There are resources, right, that you can leverage. There's YouTube, and there's a lot of data science resources as well. Communities. I'll see if I can send you a couple of communities as well that you can join, so that you just start to try one thing or the other. And you know what's beautiful about this is you can still combine a lot of these things. You can become a data scientist that decides to work in the production industry. So it doesn't have to be that your production industry experience just wastes, right? And just as long as you know motherhood is not going to stop you, it can launch you, open your eyes to the opportunities that exist as well, and just try to batch your skills or your plan. So, okay, baby is coming maybe in September or something like that. What can I do between now and September? Try to do those things. But remember, you're not the same person as you were. So, give yourself grace. Maybe instead of learning for 6 hours in a day, you might just do 1 hour. Compounding is the most important thing you can gain here rather than trying hard to finish so many things. So, give yourself grace in this new phase and season that you're in. It's a gift, it's not a curse. And I think the third one was from Temi Tayo. Um, Asking questions as a skill. I'm not sure what this means.
Okay, is referring to when you or he or she is, I don't know the gender, is referring to when you said asking questions is a skill. That if that's one of your soft skills that you have, that she's asking how is that a skill?
Okay. So have you been in meetings where people raise their hands to talk or contribute or say things and they finally talk and you're asking yourself, what did this person just say? Good. So when I say asking questions is a skill, I'm not just saying asking questions in itself, I'm really saying communicating. And every one of us, we can learn the act of communicating and communicating better. I still have a lot to learn myself. Basically, when you're able to asking questions comes from practicing and there are questions you ask yourself internally. For example, we're on this call and somebody says, I want to do this and that in data. Maybe someone says data science and machine learning and Python, and you raise your hand and ask, how is Python used in data science? Like it's more the way you ask the question that we're saying here, but that also comes by curiosity, researching, being inquisitive about these things, and just being and feeling comfortable to raise your voice and ask the questions that most people are not comfortable asking. Um, for example, I mean, not even like career related, you can ask things like, why? I mean, kids, you know how kids ask a lot of questions. Why do we need to shower? They will ask you things like that. Um, have you ever really thought about why we need to shower? There are many questions I get asked, and I'm like, oh, that's something I never thought of. So sometimes it's really just asking questions is more it's an inroad into you as a person. Are you curious about things that are going on around you? And do you think that they help? So yeah, just I hope that helps.
Okay, guys, we've got 8 hands up, and we have about 19 minutes to go. Maybe we might extend this session. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm going to start with the first. And Nana, please go ahead, ask a question. Nana, are you there? You're muted if you're asking. Yes, we can hear you now.
So I have a background in psychosocial rehabilitation, and I am quite passionate about that field, right? However, I am also a very outspoken person. I am very good with public speaking. I talk a lot, and people around me know that. And they tell me a lot that, oh, I love the way you speak. You're very confident when you talk. So now I also do have a skill, which is I do social media management. Now I'm torn between following my passion, which is psychosocial rehabilitation, applying for roles. I have volunteered in countless situations in that particular field and I love it. However, I haven't gotten paid roles in that situation, like NGOs or humanitarian agencies that actually recruiting. I have applied, but I haven't gotten any yet. So I'm torn between still following that passion of mine and maybe using the other things that I know how to do as a side hustle, or I should just focus on one.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll take on a few more questions before Wamide goes ahead to respond in bulk. So the next hand that is up is Sonia.
Question is a little bit long. I apologize. So I'm a product designer, and
Okay.
I already discussed with Wamide, and we decided that I would pivot to UX research, which I'm very okay with. But a side note is I have a gifting business. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay, so a side note is I have a gifting business that I just started this year when I got out of job, right? And I was building that, and that was going well. So I decided to pivot from product design to UX to user research, which I sort of started learning about. But now I got will I say a job from one of my dream companies that is in product design. So I'm just confused right now. I'm just very confused on what to do and how to proceed, and I'm just in a fix basically.
Okay, Sonia. How
Yeah.
many years have you been doing this for?
About 5 years, 5 to 6 ish. Yeah.
We will take two more questions, and I will let Wamide answer everyone that's asked so far. Adegoke, can you please go ahead? Febisola Adegoke, can you please go ahead? Are you there? If you're speaking, we can hear you. Adegoke, are you there? Okay, if Adegoke is not there, Edem, can you please go ahead? Edem, are you there? Okay, okay. Adegoke, give you a minute. Edem, please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, Wamide, thanks for the opportunity. Sorry if I'm going to ramble. I really need to just let everything out. Okay, so I'm in my senior career level. I've been working for about 10 years now. Initially, when I started out, I wanted to go into research and development. I'm a pharmacist. But somehow, okay, I decided I'm going to get a master's degree first. That would help me in my search for a job in R&D. And I decided to start business also. Like, let me just start the business while I'm doing my master's. Then when I finish the master's, I can now get a role in R&D. But I finished the master's, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead for a PhD to give me like a better chance. I finished the PhD, still doing the business. And the business is doing quite well. Honestly, it's paying my bills. Like, I make 6 figures from the business. So it's doing well. But then I still have this feeling like I could do more, like there's something I'm missing out on. So last year I went for an MBA, still feeling okay, this will help my chances in R&D. So right now I have like 4 degrees and I'm doing nothing with it. So I'm kind of like, I really don't know what to do. Should I just focus on the business, scale the business, and just like, this is my life now? Or should I still go ahead and pursue my passion? I really don't know. So I just want to have a bit of clarity. When I speak with people, they are like, you have a business that is doing so well. People will kill to be in your position. What are you still looking for? Like, but I know, like, I want more. So I don't know. That's my question. And
Okay.
also in this time, I've been able to raise my kids. Like, the business gave me time. So I'm done with childbearing. So it's like, do I go ahead and pursue the R&D now? Because I have all these degrees that are doing nothing, or do I just face the business? Yeah, so
Oh,
that's it.
wow. Okay. That's a very long question. I'm sure Wamide
Yeah.
took notes. I'm going to take one more. Then Wamide would answer everyone that's asked so far. So I think okay. I hope you can go now.
Charlie, no, I think okay. Sorry, I had mic issues. My question is, so I've been in audit for like 10 years now, and I kind of fell into it. I'd done my MSc and I was just applying to anywhere and everywhere, and it was the first job I got after my master's. So I've been working there like 10 years. I've left Nigeria, I'm in the UK. I mean, I guess you could argue that I'm doing fine, but I've never liked it. I've progressed just because you can't be in the field I'm in and just be stagnant. You have to kind of keep progressing. And one of my main challenges is I think I'm very adaptable. So if you had put me in tax, if you put me in audit, if you put me in advisory, I feel like I would have done fine. I have no real interest in anything. I'm not fulfilled, and for some reason I don't like the idea of making my hobbies. So I like to read and I write. I don't like the idea of making a career out of writing because I feel like, or reading, because I feel like it will take away the fun. I don't want to be watching some, because people have suggested like you like to watch stuff, you like to write, can't you do reviews and stuff like that? But I'm like, when I'm watching stuff, I want to watch stuff just because it's fun for me. I don't want to now be taking notes because I need to do a review later. So it's like I don't just know what to do. With myself and with my life. I don't want to progress like further than I have in audit. I don't want to become a partner or a director. I want to leave the field, but it's just what I've known. So even though I don't like it and I'm not enjoying it, it's kind of like a comfort zone that makes it hard for me to think about any other thing I should be doing or I'd probably enjoy doing. So it's like what to do. I don't know if that question gives you all the context you need, but yeah.
Okay, so Wamide, there have been 4 questions asked. I'm just going to let you answer all of them. Then we'll proceed to the next set.
Okay, thank you all so much for these questions. Nana says she loves psychosocial rehabilitation, and yes, I should say you speak very well as well, and you are very confident. I love that you're already listening to what people are saying. As Nigerians, which I believe most of us are, I feel like we have a peculiar problem, which is sometimes studying courses that have no career pathways in the country. And sometimes that limits the amount of experience that we can possibly gather. There might be a couple of options, like if you really, really, really want to do psychosocial rehabilitation, honestly, the people that will value your work are not in this country. And it might be time to really start considering leaving. Getting a second degree, for example, in I think social work. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not, but that might be something you want to consider because you would stay here and be here and try, and most roles that you would get will not be this. So I want you to have an insane bias for action in the next, say, 6 months or 8 months of your life. Spend time researching where your skills will matter. Spend time researching what university you can go to advance your skills. Spend time researching what organizations will be able to leverage your skills. There is a whole system abroad that already takes this. So even if you decided to do it in Nigeria, you might not be paid well. You've already said you've tried, but they've been mostly volunteer roles. You will not be paid well. Somebody will have to come and slap you again while you're trying to help them. Please, just just go. I think that's the best thing. Every other skill that you've gained, there's ways that you will use them later. Your public speaking skills, your confidence, your writing skills, your wittiness, all of those things, they will come in handy. All of these things come together to make you who you are. There's no reason why you cannot start sharing and talking about psychosocial rehabilitation in a couple of years. There's no reason why you can't create a practice of your own. There's no reason why you can't create some sort of social media movement to help people get comfortable or get familiar with what exactly it means. In Nigeria, sometimes we lack tact. We don't know how to react and behave to people that are in certain situations. You can be the one that breaks that cycle and really helps people to say, this is how you treat people when they're depressed. This is how you treat people when they are addicted. This is how you treat people when they're coming out of XYZ situation. And really just help people find better ways to do better things. So, my biggest advice would be that you take action and stop waiting. And that action might not happen in Nigeria, but it's okay. You'll be fine. Just go to where your skills will matter. You know, the way the world is, there's certain animals you will not find in Nigeria, there's certain animals you will not find in Australia because animals will go to the environments that they will thrive. They'll basically stay in the places that are climatic and comfortable and blah 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 for them, where the climate is perfect. That's the kind of thing we're saying here. Especially if you like what you do. Not everybody that studied this thing with you likes it. But if you like it, please seek ways to go for it. Sonia, Sonia. Sonia, please. This job that you got, did you apply for it? Did it come to you?
So it came to me, but I applied for it. I didn't go fishing for it. It came to me, then I applied for it.
Okay. Okay. And if you asked yourself if you take this job now on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you feel?
To be honest, I don't know.
And that's okay.
I'm really excited at the prospect of working with said company. I like how you're smiling.
Because I'm like, you're answering your question yourself. You know this. Yes. But I also get because you feel like you had gotten to the point where you really wanted to get out of product design. You know, when we spoke, I did ask you and said, like, is it the company? Is it the way the clients are? Is it because sometimes um all of those things can make up your experience or how you feel about a certain role. I say that there are three things that impact our work experience: the company you work at, the people you work with, and the actual things that you do on a day-to-day basis. It's easier to get out than to get in. So my unconventional advice would be that you take the job, and if you don't like it, you can still leave. But you'll be better off, I want to believe, in having taken the role. And maybe this might be your final decision maker where you're like, do I really, really want to continue product design or just forget about it completely? I do think you should take the job, but pay attention to your feelings, pay attention to your desires, pay attention to the triggers, pay attention to the things that excite you on it and whatnot. There's no experience that you would gain from here that would not be helpful for you. Secondly, for your gifts business, it's great that you started something that's seeming to make money. At this point, can you delegate and ask somebody else to help you look into it? I'm not going to say, because I also run multi businesses, I'm not going to say you shouldn't like pursue it or whatever, but I think I don't think that's the thing that's holding you down or back or anything. So, like, continue to do what you can with it. And if it starts to get in the way of your job, just find someone to delegate to, find someone else to train, and just keep it going. Hope that helps.
Yes.
Okay. I'm fun. Hi. Wow, I don't think I've met anyone with so many degrees. First off, kudos to you and your brain because yo, this is a lot that you've taken on, especially in science, right? Well done, first of all. And in all of that, to have still built such a profitable business that has helped you also stay present for your kids and all. I think what you're feeling is what we said, at the beginning, where we're like, at your senior career stage, you're usually at the point where you're really, really, really trying to reinvent yourself, where you're trying to dig deeper. And if you at this point where you feel immense dissatisfaction, then I think you should pursue the things that you think will bring you joy. First off, if you got a role like this, it's not going to get in the way of being a present mom because you're already over that stage. The second thing is the fact that you've built this business to a certain point means you can mostly delegate some parts to it, of some parts of it to somebody else while you go do the thing that you really want to do. Now, it does seem like you had to start this business, and again, kudos to you because it does seem like you had to do this thing even when things didn't seem to be going your way, right? But it's also proof that sometimes the things that we think or the ways that we think things will not necessarily work that way. And like I just want to recognize how well you have navigated and managed this season. This is so good. And I want you to lean into that story, right? Even in your interviews, if someone asked you, for example, why you took such a long career break and what you've done and whatnot, feel comfortable to share because that shows the kind of amazing leader, amazing quality that you have in bringing you on. All I'm trying to say here is I think you should go for this R&D thing that you have deeply desired for a while. Um, I'm not sure if you're in any associations or communities. I think that might be the next layer to kind of help you unlock access that you're looking for. I also do know that R&D is not necessarily as prioritized in Nigeria, but there are companies that are doing it. So you might want to start with just researching the kind of companies that you want to work at and trying to figure out networks to get in there. So rather than taking the traditional apply to a job and wait for them to call you back approach, you might want to go the other way where you find a role and you can find somebody that you already know that can help. So, yes, please go for this. And it would be so amazing to hear your story in like 3 to 6 months about landing a really solid role in R&D that you love and you're just thriving at it. I think that would be great. I'm really, really looking forward to hearing that from you sometime. Hope that helps inform. Okay, now for Febi, Shola, you've basically been at this role for a bit, also 10 years, 12 years or so in your career, and you've been doing this for a while. I don't want to be biased because I know your story, but I think one of the first things I would say is sometimes when you've been doing something for so long, you might be so used to it that you might not even be able to recognize the things that you've gained from it. So I want you to try an exercise where you can try to ask the people around you, maybe across 4 roles or 4 industries or something, about you as a person, like the things that they thought you did well and the things that you could improve. Try to also ask some of your clients because I think they would be able to give some unbiased feedback about this. But if you're also at this stage and you haven't tried anything else and you are not interested in exploring your hobbies, I would say that you should really, really, really try to take some time off. The thing that you're looking for is already within you, but it takes giving it attention for you to see it. And giving it attention would mean not giving your typical day job the attention that you currently give it. So please take some time to take time off work, extended time off work, not the typical 2 weeks break, because before you know it's 2 weeks is over. 3 months, maybe at the minimum. Just plan things, do things. Sometimes that looks like pottery, paintballing, like do things for play, but also as you start to connect with a deeper sense of you that is not hindered and inhibited by the work and the clients and the weight of the typical job that you have, your mind will start to open up to the other things that you can dig into. It could be on your walk to somewhere one day, you see somebody doing something and you have an idea that, hey, maybe I should try XYZ, right? But I also want you to get comfortable with the idea of reinventing yourself and starting over. Technically, you're not starting over, but just giving yourself a chance to start again. I also don't know if this is a case of I'm just tired of where I'm at right now. So I don't want to like jump in and say just switch jobs for the sake of switching jobs. I think what you're asking and desiring is something that you really, really enjoy. And you're doing not just to get by or to pay your bills, but something that you really, really, really enjoy. And that comes from just digging deeper. Another hack is as a child, we have no sense of the world in itself, and we don't know that hey, we're supposed to get a degree and make some money and pay our bills and all of that. So we are our truest selves as children. If you could also think back on the things that you did as a kid that you really enjoyed or that people said you did well. For example, in my case, as a child, I did practically everything. And things they saying to me and things they're not saying to me. I mimed, I danced, I choreographed, I sang, I read, I did drama. I was jack of all trades or Jill of all trades. What I've taken from that is just I'm comfortable managing multiple passions. So I'm a multi potentialite. There was a time it used to bother me, but now I've leaned into it. So that's kind of what I'm trying to say here. I'm not necessarily saying, oh, if you sang and danced as a kid, then you're going to sing and dance. No, I'm just asking if there's any trend that you can connect back to from your childhood that will kind of help you relate more to your inner self and your truest self as you start to think about what's next. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we have another
Okay,
call.
yeah, we have another. We actually have more than four, but I'm just okay. We have four people we are answering, so then we have one more question in the comments. Then after that, we're done. So I'll just ask the first end up is Chidima Odiegu. I'm sorry if I didn't get the second name right pronunciation. Please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm an early career with 15 months of experience in product marketing, more like offer management, but I'm not really with the 15 months in already. I'm not excited about it. So yesterday I kind of said out loud to myself, I hate marketing. So it's not a field that I'm looking to advance. I'm more like because I studied electrical engineering. I want to be in the control. I want to be in the control space, as a control engineer, where I just interact with my system or systems rather than people. Like I'm not really an extrovert or outspoken. I'm more like an introvert, just with limited number of people. So here in this space, it's not giving me the flexibility to do so much. I'm supposed to be outspoken with every little thing I do, so that they will know that there are impacts that I'm making. So it's making me feel un unrecognized, or how should I put this, underperforming in this current role. So I'm a bit more under the overwhelming space. As I'm just stuck, I'm just feeling stuck. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do, really. So,
Yeah, Chidema, your emotions are very very valid, and I'm sure Wamide can walk us through how you can best get out of this and get unstuck, right? Okay, so the
yeah.
next person, Chidema, she's going to reply. I want to just take a couple of questions before she does. The next person is named X after the new Twitter's name. X, can you please go ahead?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon again. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah,
So,
can you please raise your voice?
okay, am I audible now?
Yes, you're better.
Okay. So, I have run a cake business for about 8 years now. I started in the university and it was sort of what put me through school and paid my bills through school and up until I finished school. So I did it really big, sort of, when I was in school. I had people who worked for me. I was paying salaries. It was really doing well. So I would say I kind of put all of my eggs in the entrepreneurship basket at the time. I was going for several workshops. I was learning lots and lots of things at the time. I also won some grants, but at the point after school, I lost the shop space I was using to do all of my baking, and I had a mental breakdown where I really couldn't do so much at the time. I had to seek medical help, and the business was on break for some months. After some time, I was able to get back to it, and I got another shop space where I was working. Then after a year, the owner of the shop too came and took the shop. So along the lines of me having the whole mental breakdown, seeking help, not doing so much, I still had to pay my bills. So I picked up jobs like being a research assistant with some of my lecturers in the university and doing all of that. So right now I sort of am back to the business and I'm trying to rebuild and start from where I stopped. So I didn't really stop. It was not just I wasn't just doing it as much as I used to. So right now I work from my where I live. It's a small space, but that's where I work from. Currently I had to also take a break because from time to time I have to take breaks so that I don't get back to where I was, where I sort of hit rock bottom and I really couldn't do so much and I was in therapy and all of that. So every year for the business I used to do a CSR. So this year I decided to do a CSR on training small business owners on how to win grants because I have won two grants in the past. The CSR did well. People came for the workshop and now some people even ask to be part of like a one-on-one class. So I have a group for those people right now. My question is that I really don't know what to do at the moment. Should I expand my business or should I focus on coaching, which seems to be working at the moment? Because for the business, there's always this on and off with the business because of the situation I am in, which I can't really say much right now at the moment. So, and most times I get feedback from most of my customers talking about how well my cakes are, how well I do with the business. From time to time, in the past 4 years, I don't think I've gotten any bad review for my cakes. People always talk about it being really good, but the fear is always there that if I go all in once again, that something might happen and I might just be back to ground zero.
X, X, I'm sorry for in, interrupting you. Can you? I understand that there's lots, right? And it's I understand. I've been where you are stuck and you don't know what next to do. So what I'm going to ask you is, can you in 2 to 3 sentences tell us what you want Wamide to help you with? Because you said a
Yes,
lot.
yeah, I already asked the question. I said
What's the question?
I need clarity on whether I should expand and move along with the business or just stick to teaching and coaching on the things that like the grants, applying for grants for small business owners and all of that, which I'm currently doing, or should I
Okay.
just move along with the business? Yes, that's the question I have.
Okay. Thank you very much. The next person is Easy. Easy, what's your question? Easy Ekong, can you please go ahead and ask your question, please?
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Hi. So I did write my question initially. So I'm just gonna like give a backstory so there's more context to the scholarship question. So I obviously want to relocate out of the country because I'm in a shambles here, and that's why I applied for a master's degree. But the funny thing is, at the start of the year, I wanted to pivot to cybersecurity because my experience with marketing in Nigeria is really just crass, and it felt very unfulfilling, right? And so after I got my admission, I applied to a government scholarship that offers 100% scholarship. And I did get it, right? But again, it had to be in a course that was aligned with what I studied in my BSc, which was computer science. I'm not opposed to that, and cybersecurity is definitely something that I'm interested in and curious about. So I really love to explore that, but somehow there's just also the worry that it kind of seems like it's on the other end of the spectrum with marketing that I've been doing for 5 years, and I still love marketing. I even quit my job in March because I genuinely just felt really unfulfilled, and so I just took like a month off to really, really find clarity and like what I wanted to do going forward. In the last 2 days, I've had conversations with like two other technical marketers who told me that I can apply my knowledge from cybersecurity to like get technical marketing roles, which are like more in demand. And so I guess like for me, I'm just sort of torn. And again, like you mentioned, one you mentioned something about data science. I did a bit of data science in uni, and to be honest, I feel like I'd be bored out of my mind if I do data science, right? And so cybersecurity is just something where I kind of feel like there's a recent interest and curiosity around it. The end goal for me really is that like I want a successful career that makes me a lot of money, to be honest. But more importantly, I want to be relevant in the fashion space, and that's where the media brand comes in because that's something that like I just started on the side and hopefully build out, in a couple of years where I can eventually like leave my career full time and then focus on like the things that I want to do for myself. So I guess my question is really just like finding like I think there's just an uncertainty like is this a good move? Like sort of the unfamiliarity of what exactly I'm going into.
Okay. Thank you very much, Easy. Appreciate the context, and one day we'll provide answers to that. The last hand raised up, and last hand that we are taking for this session. We've shot past our runway though. Chidima Odo Emena. I'm sorry if I didn't get the second name right. Can you please go ahead and ask your question and keep it contextual and as brief as possible too?
So I'm in my early career phase. And I have a background in accounting, but I don't like my job one bit. Yes, I've learned a lot, but I think I'm operating from a place of fear in terms of trying to transition into another space. I recently explored the creative part of me. It's something I just recently explored, and I find so much joy in doing it. Basically, all things content creation. However, I also have an interest in product management, like building state, ideation, and basically just growing a product. I've been taking courses. It's not been easy. Yeah, this is overwhelming. But I just want to ask, in terms of my because the job I do right now, I feel like if I do this for 10, 20 years, I will be miserable. I'll be so miserable. I just want more. And I just want to know basically how do I navigate all of this to know how to move and make the right decision in terms of my career path. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much, Chidima.
Very clear, Chidima. I think one of the coolest things is when you can think about yourself in a couple of years and really ask, am I going to be happy or miserable? And nah, we don't want to be miserable. Um, I don't think what you're asking is as difficult as you think it is. First of all, there is no problem with switching. I studied computer engineering. When last I used that skill. Well, I don't know. I finished with a first class, meaning that I really, really studied this thing. But at the time, I'll be honest, I only studied it because it seemed like the most interesting thing, but I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. So if you've gone and studied accounting and you're on an accounting job and you're not feeling it, please move. I want you to check out, why has her name disappeared from my head? It's only her Twitter handle I'm remembering now. Um I want you to check out, she's a YouTuber in the UK, and Onyechi. Onyechi is, in this case, an engineer turned digital marketer. But I'm just trying to say that there are many other examples, and there are people like you that have studied something and gone the other way. Take this as permission to follow your passion in content creation and product management. Don't rush it. For the content creation one, for example, like the point is, I want you to start a job or start an opportunity somewhere. If content creation is what you want to explore, are there who is the industry you want to work with, or what industry do you want to work for? Are there a group of people you prefer to work with, professionals, coaches like me, or creators like me, or is it like a company where you're trying to help them build their products? Because that could be product marketing as well. When you say you like ideation and whatnot, you don't necessarily have to do product management for you to use that skill. Content creation is a lot of ideation and seeing something come to life as well. For example, this Ask Me Anything, we had an idea, and little by little by little, it became this. So I just want you to not hold yourself back. If you're already feeling this miserable in 1-2 years, run. That's the best thing I can say. But run with intention, right? Figure out how you're trying to get out and just go. Um, I'll go to X. X, for you, thank you so much for the context and all the things that you shared. I don't feel like I really, really understand everything. So maybe you can just wait back and we can talk through it a little bit. But it sounds like there's maybe 2 or 3 things you're dealing with: the sense of doing too much and breaking down. Two, you have a business that you're trying to expand, and then you're also into teaching, coaching, applying for grants. The best thing I can say is just figure out what brings you the most joy and lean into that. Figure out also, where you are at mentally, and you want to make sure that you're doing something that doesn't overwhelm you. So and something that's not going to take you back to where you were trying to be. There was a time I had 2 offers from different companies. One company was super big, and all of that, and the other not. But this company on this side was going to give me flexibility and agency. And this other one, even though it's a big company, I will look good on my CV, I may not have gotten the flexibility and agency that I wanted. So I decided to stay on this side and choose the one that gave me flexibility and agency. That's what I'm trying to say. What do you want for yourself? When you think about your life and your career, what is the life that you think of? What does that mean to you? Start from there and then figure out what brings you the most joy out of all the things that you have done so far, and what will give you that life that you want. Because it's not just about, there's many ways to make money, quite all right, right? But sometimes it's not always about money. It's really what gives you the best opportunity to be your best self without burning out, without breaking down. That's where you want to optimize for. So I hope that helps. Easy. I know that this might seem very okay. Easy. I know that this might seem like a lot, especially with like cybersec and marketing, but there's nothing new under the sun. First of all, there's nothing you're trying to do right now that somebody else hasn't done before. When I first got your question, my biggest thought was, yeah, this seems far, but this doesn't seem impossible. There's 1,000 ways to spin this. What if you became a product marketer for cybersecurity companies? It makes it so much easy because you've gathered all these experiences from marketing, and I don't know what your core or your Swiss Army skill is, but imagine that maybe storytelling is what it was, and you've built like this bank of being able to connect with audiences and tell them stories, and then you now understand this technical world of cybersecurity and moving packets and moving this and that, and you're able to break it down into simple contexts for people. There's a million and one paths you can follow from this. There's products marketing, technical products marketing, like your friends have said, but there's also even DevRel that can come out from this. Just give yourself the chance to find yourself. and explore. I did suggest data science at first because it seemed like one of the most practical things and one of the easiest things to align. As a marketer, yes, you're doing all of these experiments and carrying out all of these things, but you know what is missing? Sometimes when you're trying to tell us stakeholders about the things that you did, the insights are not really following as they should follow. So maybe I was talking from a place of bias where I'm like, yo, you know what would be great? If the marketer could kind of tell me what happened here and what happened there with solid data, and you're not just telling me the people loved it. Yes, we see that. But if you could give me like data visualization and all of those things, that would be solid. But really, this is your story. This is your thing to chase. If you have this opportunity, I think you should take it and don't let fear hold you back. Whilst we were talking, I found two, three communities that are literally cyber marketing. That's like the name, cyber marketing, cyber security marketing. There's cyber security marketing societies. So don't feel like you're alone. And that's why I said there's nothing new under the sun. The most important thing is you should actually be connected to the people that are already in this space so that you can expand your mind, expand your scope, and really start to do marketing in the way that you like it. You've been through way too much already to end up doing the same things that you've been doing. So for all you care, maybe this is actually a good opportunity to stand out because you've been doing marketing in a certain way. And if you're already bored and tired of it, then maybe this cybersecurity marketing is a really good way to really stand out. So I shall pass this on to you. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. I feel like it's one more person that asked the question, but I'm sorry. I'm realizing I didn't take down the notes. Can you please? I think it was Chidima, the first Chidima. No?
Yes. She was asking about should she continue with her current business, or should she focus on the consultancy for businesses looking for grants? Chidima or Diego, please confirm if I got your question correctly.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
We can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Okay. So what I was saying is that I graduated with an electrical engineering degree, but I found myself with an offer marketing role, like for my first job. I mean, my first job. But after 15 months, I'm not feeling it. I'm not really a marketing person. And as such, I feel underperforming in my current role while I see some other persons really doing well in the same kind of role. But because I'm not really into marketing, I'm not an extrovert because it's more like being outspoken, being able to, I don't know, there's this term in marketing I'm trying to remember, but I don't really vibe with the offer marketing role, and it's making me feel like I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I should move elsewhere, do what I really like, which was initially in a control engineering space. So
Okay,
Wamide, did you get the question now?
I get it. Thank you. So, what
Okay.
would it take to move from marketing to this engineering space?
hello, did you hear me?
I heard you. Did you hear
Yes.
what I asked you?
No.
I said, so what would it take to move from marketing to the engineering space you want to be in?
So, because my current role is kind of still under graduate training, so I've tried to, have a conversation with the head of engineering at my company, but that didn't work out. I also tried to try and upskill myself in the marketing role within the company, and that with a program that they created to upskill for marketing, but that didn't they didn't also give me the opportunity. So I'm like, should I move away from this company? And I'm also working on graduate application and just really focus on um applying to schools. But since that is not in my hand yet, I'm kind of now stuck in what is in my hand, trying to move forward and not feel overwhelmed or feeling that I'm not doing my best where I am right now.
Okay, so that's what I was also asking. Like, what would it take to get out of where you are at right now? Like I always say that every experience, yes, I understand that you're not satisfied and all of that, but every experience is valuable in one way or the other. So, really kudos to you for trying and asking for these opportunities. And even though they didn't pan out, it might just be a timing thing, it might just be a phase thing. I want you to dig deeper into understanding what exactly you don't like about offer marketing. I hear you in saying that you don't feel like you are performing well, basically being your best self, and that is very, very valid. But what I want to also understand is where would you rather be and how can you get there? So if you say that graduate school or something like that is what you want to try, have you applied? Like, the thing I don't want you to do is stay stuck.
Hello?
Yes.
Actually, my network cut off for a while. I didn't hear your response. I apologize.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I said that I want you to do two things. First, with the
Mm.
marketing role that you don't enjoy, I want you to kind of pinpoint what exactly you're not enjoying about it. Like I hear you in saying that it seems like you're underperforming, and you basically you're saying you're not your best self, and I know how frustrating that can be. But I want you to recognize what it is exactly you hate about it. That is important so that you don't find yourself in that situation again. Because you can also
Okay.
be in a graduate trainee role in another firm and still be in this kind of situation. Then next, I was asking, what would it take to get you to where you want to be? If you say you really, really want to go back into control engineering or something, do you think it might be worth finishing your graduate trainee rotation first of all and seeing what pans out, right? Because you might um not be where you want to be now, but in 6 months, would you have the opportunity to like I don't think I have enough time to ask you questions like why exactly did they say no? The people that you asked or the head of departments that you asked, um, are those the right people you should have been asking? Should you have spoken to HR instead? Those kind of questions. But ultimately, the bigger thing is what else can you do? And if you say you wanted to do like a graduate assistantship thing or go to graduate school, can you start working towards those applications and just see how you go from there rather than continuing to stay stuck?
Yes, so that's what I'm doing right now. Um, Preparing for graduate school application, attending webinars, writing my SOPs, reaching out to my
Lecturers backing you.
school lecturers. Yes,
Okay.
yes. So
Okay.
while I'm also doing that for the control engineering role, so we have a platform where we can learn anything. So I've also given part of my time to learning some of
Okay.
the concepts there
Okay.
because according to the head of engineering, um, he was looking for me to have a cybersecurity knowledge, which I didn't have, which is where they had space for at
Okay.
the department. So
Okay.
as I started taking courses relating to cybersecurity for
Okay.
control systems. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So remember what I said, where at the beginning, when you're in your early career stage, the common thing, what you're feeling is not, you're not out of place and it's not uncommon. The key thing here is you're finding what you like, you're exploring options, and sometimes you might even find yourself in an unfulfilling role. The key thing is that you don't stay stuck. So I love that you're already taking action. Just give yourself a little more grace. The rejections don't define you. That somebody said no does not mean you don't deserve to be in that space. Do you get? It's just a timing thing. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to continue to build the skills that matter. So continue to experiment, continue to focus on what you are learning. Learn more than anything else. Give more time to learning. Give more time to this cybersecurity course or the control engineering course or the school. Just focus on learning and building your skills.
Okay.
And then you know that as you go, you definitely don't want to try out a marketing role. And you can be clearer, when someone is asking you, for example, why won't you do marketing? You know why you don't want to do it. So that's why I said identify what
Yeah.
exactly it is that you don't like about this role. It could be how it works or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. But focus on learning and just give yourself grace. Know that you're on a path. For example, you can draw out a plan where you just tell yourself a dream, like in the next 1 year, I want to be in XYZ, and let that just be the guide or the thing that keeps you going every day that you go to work. So even though you might not enjoy it, you know that in the next 1 year, I won't be here because I would have already done ABC or XYZ.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Andy.
Wamide, we are exactly 33 minutes past our time, but I'm just going to take on two questions that are in the chat, and then we'll just proceed to recap and then thank everyone for staying with us. Oh, we've got we've got one hand raised. Okay, we're going to come back to you. Blessing Echo says, mid-career professional year, took a career break the last 2 years, relocation. I have a healthcare background, but the job market for that year is terrible. Blessing, where is here? Can you provide more context? Also, I would like to have a job where my time is flexible. I've decided to go down the data science route, but sometimes I'm really unsure if I'm doing the right thing, like if I'm in the right field. So that's the first question. The second question is from D. D says, what are your thoughts on switching to a higher paying job that comes with a lower title or cadre or cadre if one was close to a managerial role before making the switch? Is it possible to regain or even surpass that level in the future? And how can this be managed? Right. So those are the two questions we have in the chat. Bolanle, can you please just let us know your question? Then we answer all three questions and then round up. Yes, Bolanle, please go ahead.
Hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, sorry.
Please hold on.
So I
Chidima,
come
can you
from
please mute?
so I come from a healthcare background. I've been a medical doctor most of my life. I started working as a doctor, and then I relocated. And even prior before relocating, I've been having my eyes on business, practically. But I'm someone with multi-talented and sorry, I'm multi-diverse also. So I tend to kind of like get inspired about different things from time to time, and I do them very well, from photography to everything business to fashion to different things. But yeah, I've understood that about myself, and I've started to try to focus on one thing at a time. But the thing about it is, I'm trying to pivot from my healthcare career into more of managerial, or should I say management um, career, like project management or leadership. But the reason why trying to do that is because of childcare, and I'm trying to do something much more remote as at now. But there's a part of me that still kind of like likes medicine, especially the surgical part, and I'm looking like, will I do it later in the future? And this session has actually been so helpful to me because there's a part of we're doing something because of what people expect of us, and that's what people define as success. So coming from a background where I was a doctor, there are many people who expect me to continue as a doctor, and they see me as a failure because I stopped being a doctor. If you understand what I mean. So it
Yes.
can be quite difficult, especially in the sense of identity. Even when you're doing something, one other thing that is good, even if it's business or something, they still have that look of, oh, you're a failed doctor because you're no longer a doctor, something like that. And I've had people say to me, like, oh, you're not a doctor anymore because of you're not a doctor. I'm still a doctor, anyways. So there's that identity, how will I say, fight, should I say. And I've been trying myself to um, progress my study by myself, do project management certifications, do MBA and all that. But there are times that I just feel like, is that enough, or should I just focus on where I have strength in, which is the healthcare that I have done for years? Like, should I just go back to my medical career? Because it's almost like pivoting when you're a doctor is really like very frowned upon by the society because they're like, oh, you have a career that everybody would have loved to be, and they're like, why are you leaving medicine? So that has been quite difficult for me. So my question actually, I know my question seems everywhere, but my question is, how do you, for example, make that change, especially
Okay.
when it doesn't make sense to everybody, and you
Okay.
just focus on that change where you're changing your career. Maybe you choose to focus on business or something like that. How do you make that change when it doesn't make sense to people close to you, especially family? Yeah.
Okay. Before Wamide answers, I'll just say, as long as it makes sense to you. I mean, Wamide, okay, Jay, I'm going to permit Jay to go last, and then we're going to have to, when Wamide answers this set of questions, we're going to have to round up, guys. Jay, what's your question? Jay, I'm waiting. What's your question?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, all right. So yeah, my question is, I don't know if apologies if it has been touched briefly before. I had to quickly step out in the middle of the call, but my story is more of I have been pursuing two separate lines of careers. I'm mid-level, and I've worked in tech, and I've also worked in operations for the past like 5 years. However, my operations career is the one I shine at more, and but it doesn't give me as much fulfillment or a sense of purpose as my tech career. So I've been a software developer, and I know Wamide also has worked in tech briefly. Um, and then so now I'm considering like, okay, should I explore that more? Should I, explore something that would combine my technical skills and my operational um skills. I think like naturally I'm really good at operations, right? But that sense of achievement or sense of I don't get it as much, maybe because it comes more naturally to me. So I just want to have like more clarity as to, am I approaching this the right way? Should I stick with the operations, or should I find a way to combine both? And if yes, what makes sense moving forward?
Okay, okay, okay. Wamide, I need to answer all the questions, and then we'll just round up from there.
Okay. Thanks again for the questions. I will start with Bolanli. So there is a quote that says something about the critic in the arena. That's pretty. You should check out this quote. Basically, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, who's faced with dust, sweat, blood, who strives, and all of that. Check out that quote. It's by Theodore Roosevelt. My reason for bringing that up is basically to say, in the end, this thing is about you. It's not about anything else. When all is said and done, and you are faced with all the decisions, you're the one who has to make them. You're the one who bears the weight of the decisions that you make as well. You also have to think about what works for you at this stage of your career, at this stage of your life. You have a child, and maybe at this stage for you, it might be hard to pursue your medical career as you would have liked. Not impossible, maybe just hard. So start with figuring out what it is that you yourself you want. And whatever you decide, figure out, settle on, go from there. The only people that matter, in my own opinion, in all of this is your immediate family, i.e., your child, your husband. That's what matters right now. And if everybody, well, not everybody, but you and your husband, because your child cannot decide what mommy will do. But if you and your husband finally decide and you're fine with you going this way, by all means, go for it. Everything that you someone said, I think I'm gonna mute. Okay, everything you see today was created by someone. This bottle here was manufactured by someone. That's a business. This here, manufactured by someone. That's a business. This guy, by someone. Business. I don't know what exactly your business is, but I don't want you to undermine what it is because it's just what you pour into it and the seed that you invest in it that will grow to become whatever you want it to be. So if at this season of your life, being present and being flexible is what works for you, and a business will help you do that, by all means, go for it. In 2, 3 years, your child might be a bit more grown, and you might feel, okay, I want to now do more and dig in and just dust my degree and go for it. Think about Unfon and learn from her, right? How, despite everything, she still carried on with this amazing business that has now grown to 6 figures, right? It's the $100 or euros or pounds of today that make 1,000 and 10,000 tomorrow. So just feel comfortable with doing what works for you. And really, everyone is just projecting from their side what they know. Everybody knows that being a medical doctor pays a lot of money. In the end, it's money that they want, Abby. So you figure out a better way to make your money. If money is not what matters to you now, it's fine. In the end, like they're just wishing, if I had the opportunity to make this kind of money by having a medical degree. So when you think about it that way, you understand that it's not about you. It's not you that they're concerned about. Well, like you think it's you. It's really not you. Do you? That's the most important thing. The next question was from Jay. Tech and ops. I'm not sure exactly what part of ops you're referring to. So do you want to just clarify?
So I'm currently working in a fintech as the business and finance operations manager, and I was actually headhunted for this role. So it's yeah, it makes it that much harder. I don't know. My network is quite poor today. Did
I
you
can
hear
hear you
me?
clearly. I can hear you.
Yeah, so it makes it that much harder trying to make a decision. Like if you're this good at this place where you have people coming to seek for you, should you bother with looking for satisfaction elsewhere? And that's where like the confusion is coming in for me.
Okay. And when you say moving into tech and a software engineer, what part of tech are you looking to switch to or go deeper into?
Oh no, I've actually done front end. I switched in 2020. I did front end development for about 5 years,
Okay.
and I was doing it side by side. So I had like two jobs for the longest time, and I didn't have like a personal life. So now I feel like I should get to a point where I should merge both worlds because it's hard keeping track with both sides. So
Mm,
what I'm struggling with, first of all, so I was like doing some research. I'm like, is cybersecurity the way to go? Because I know cybersecurity is quite broad and they have like a lot of like operational roles there also. And so I'm exploring that, and I'm also just saying that, is it even worth it? Should I,
mm,
because there's a thing that I was reading recently about playing to your strengths. And if you go into a field where you are not naturally good at, you might spend the rest of your career trying to catch up with other people. So there's that, also that at back of my mind.
yeah.
So I'm just trying to get clarity as to how to proceed.
Navigate that. Yeah. I think there's a fine balance between doing what you like and challenging yourself to learn something new. I wouldn't say like right of just do this or don't do that. I think you should just run small experiments and try to figure out what sticks for you. I know you've held 2 jobs for the longest and you don't want to try to do that again, but where you are, is there a possibility to kind of move internally and figure out what else is possible? Most times when I think about the combination of tech and ops, it's really DevOps that comes to mind or cloud ops. That might be the one thing that I think you can explore. I personally feel like cybersecurity is probably not the most adjacent. But if you do your research and you try to like pull these skills together, front end development and all the skills that you've gained in um, tech ops, for example, what would be a finer intersection? It could be DevOps, it could be cloud ops, it could be business transformation, it could be digital transformation, it could it could be something else. I don't know right now. So I would just say that try to run small experiments as to what you can try out. But I think this has to do with a lot of research, internal reflection, and prayers. Sorry. So yeah, I can understand the struggle, but yeah, I think like DevOps is where I'm thinking right now. So maybe research that, find out what it's like, see if that's something you can try out for a little bit, and then decide to take your full plunge from there. And if there's other things that you can research as well, you can also check them out. So you can something else I also try to do is just check out the JDs for any role that comes to mind. So that cybersecurity that you talked about, instead of focusing on it as a thing, and yes, like you said, it's really broad. But let's say you picked a particular part of cybersecurity. Maybe we picked penetration testing. Go and find a pen test specialist role and see if you're reading anything and anything jumps at you. If it doesn't, please run. That's all. I just want you to take smaller experiments to try to figure out where to get. And yes, I agree with leaning into your strengths, because that would give you the best value and best fulfillment that you can get as you go about your career. I'll go into the two questions that came in. Dee said, I think it's like two questions in one. There was the first question about how, from someone, how you open yourself to learning.
Blessing.
Okay, and there's another one from Blessing as well. Okay, so how do you open yourself to learning, and how do you think about learning to grow as a mid-career person? I don't really understand the question just yet, but opening yourself up to learning is in everything. I think sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as if learning has to be a classroom setting. Yes, there are people that like classroom setting learning, but I think in everything that we see around us, we learn. I learned to be soft spoken from my mom, for example, right? I wasn't always soft, and I have my moments of switching. So all I'm trying to say is that sometimes learning can be informal, and sometimes it can be as formal as learning in a classroom or learning a skill or something of that sort. Isaac, you want to add to that?
Yeah, Blessing's question is that she took a career break
Okay.
over the last 2 years where she relocated to the UAE.
Okay.
She has a healthcare background, but the job market for that in UAE is terrible. And she also would like to have a job where her time is flexible, and currently has decided to go down the data science study route,
Okay.
but she's not sure if she's doing the right thing or if she's in the right field.
Okay. Blessing. Again, our careers are like ladders. Sometimes it's only when we climb that we see what's on the other side. And you need to be comfortable with just taking experiments. I can't tell you if data science is the right route, because I don't know what your appetite would be when you finally get into it. But the best thing that I can tell you is to not give up on yourself and just keep learning and putting yourself out there. You've decided on data science for a reason. Let's try to see it to the end. What I mean by that is finish learning. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed or get lost in tutorial hell. It's very easy to feel like you want to keep acquiring knowledge without ever applying it. So if there are little ways that you can try to apply yourself, you've said that you want a job where your time is flexible. Are there companies that you can try to work with right now? Are there volunteer opportunities that you can position yourself for? Are there communities that you can plug yourself into? Are there projects that you can try to apply yourself into right now? For example, there are non-profits in the UAE that you can go in and say, hey, I can help you do this and this and this as a volunteer. There are many, many, many ways to think about expanding on your skills as you begin. But yeah, you would never know until you take a leap. So just try. I believe you're on the right path, but you wouldn't know if you're in the right field until you get there. So to quicken that, just get into the field, do the thing, get your hands dirty, and you figure out whether you want to stay there or not. And I
Okay.
believe the last
The
one.
next question is from D. What are your thoughts on switching to a higher paying job that comes with a lower title or cadre? If one was close to a managerial role before making the switch, is it possible to regain or even surpass that level in the future? And how can this be managed?
Okay, again, think about this like the cooking scenario. You know, when there's times where you're making beans and you can add too much salt into it, what would you do? Sometimes some people pour it away. Some people will just take another pot of beans or make another pot of unsalted beans and add it to it. Basically, all I'm saying here is nothing is impossible. And even if it does seem like you've gone far away from something, it can be managed. I've never been a fan of job titles. I mean, after a while, I was a fan at some point and then not a fan anymore. What are you optimizing for right now? Are you optimizing for visibility or are you optimizing for money? If you're optimizing for money, please go for the higher paying job. Lower title or KDA is is the least of your worry. It's how you position yourself that matters, right? Except your employer comes and says this is exactly how you should define this on LinkedIn. For example, maybe what is happening is that the role that you're getting is junior content marketer. Just a random example. Junior content marketer is the title in your offer letter, right? On your LinkedIn profile, there's no reason why you cannot call yourself content marketing expert. There's no reason why you have to stick to the junior content marketer as your. I'm not saying on the title with the job, I'm saying like on your header and your title and profile or whatever it's called, right? So it's really how you decide to position yourself that matters here. And be clear, look, managerial roles at companies differ from place to place. You've heard here as well of people saying, hey, I was in X position in Nigeria, and when I moved, I had to move a grade lower. That's how it works sometimes at companies as well. That you were a manager at X position does not mean that you will be a manager at A position. Me, that I'm even looking for the way to become an IC. I don't want to manage anybody anymore. So it depends on what you're optimizing for, but let me not use my bias to stress you. Um, if you were close to a managerial role before making the switch, it's very possible to regain and surpass that. Again, what are you optimizing for? Iron out what the skills you were trying to gain in that position. Have your career compass. It's kind of like your North Star. When you are clear about what your career compass is, it helps you so much as you continue to navigate things. So, in that place, you would definitely then go above and beyond because you know where you're trying to go to next and you know the kind of opportunities that you should be trying to get into. So, one, you know, unpack yourself from the job title. I would say take the job if what you're trying to optimize for is pay your bills, and then feel comfortable to go above and beyond in that role, but have your own career compass. Where are you trying to get to? What are the skills you're trying to use here, and all of that. I hope that's helpful. Awesome.
Okay, guys. We have come to the end of the questions. We have two more. One is from X, although I think X would
Yes,
say
we'll
is
stay
gonna
back.
wait behind.
Okay.
Then Chidima is asking if she can speak with the HR about the things she doesn't like about the marketing.
Yes,
And
you can, except you're in a toxic company. Oh, but your HR is literally supposed to be the go between you as an employee and then the company's interest itself. For example, it's that HR that can let you know if there are opportunities in a department for XYZ. I've switched within a big four before, and that's typically not possible. And I switched in 6 months because I did not like audit and I wanted to move into consulting. It was a mix of having a conversation with HR and with the head of departments, but your HR has a part to play. So start with having that conversation. It's how you say it. You're not going to go in there as if you're begging. Hello, ma. I've been doing marketing for a while. I this and this and this, but I don't think I'm at my best. And I'd really, really, really like to be my best at this company. What I think I'd like to do is engineering because I have a degree in A, B, C, D. And this is why I'd like to explore positions for this. I know this might not be immediately possible because I'm in the graduate trainee scheme, but I'm hoping that if an opportunity comes up, I will be considered for it. What should I do to make myself more eligible? What should I like? You position it as if you're bringing value to the company, and it's not just a selfish move to move across simply because you're not enjoying it here. But I think your HR should be the first person you talk to this thing about. Okay.
and she also says options about switching to the engineering department, still on that graduate training without losing my job opportunity within the company.
Again, ask them as well. They're the ones that can provide answers to these things. Um, Different companies have different policies for all of this. But in the end, remember that your ability to switch into another department depends on the availability within that department. So you need two stakeholders on your side. But what I wanted you to do was to just understand what the possibilities are first. That's why I said ask your HR, talk to them, understand what exactly it is that is going on. But you're not going to position it as if I can't do my job because I don't like marketing, right? So rehearse and figure out a better way to mention it and share what you're feeling. Okay.
Okay,
I
guys, this has been a very long word. Okay, I'll just let Wamide go ahead and
Yeah, it has. And
yeah.
shout out to the 20 plus people that have stayed back. Really, the key things I can say here is just summarizing everything we've gone through. Stop being worried. View your career as an experiment. It's not really a ladder. And sometimes it's after you climb that you see what's on the other side. And you can switch. You can always change. You can always change. Please lean into what you love. You are the competitive advantage here. You are the thing that matters here. You are the one that matters, and you can change as many times as possible. Also, feel comfortable to make small moves where you are, right? Sometimes growth does not always mean a big leap. It might look like coming down and going back up again, and that's okay. But most importantly, make sure you're learning, reskill, upskill, make your work visible, connect with people, volunteer, build in public, and start where you are. Start with what you already have. Many times you already have a lot of the skills that you think that you need. So please do that. And I'm always a big fan of people who take ownership and take responsibility. So seek responsibilities where you are and ask questions. There's no stupid question. There's no stupid question, really. Ask questions. Also, just say yes more than you say no. If you're burnt out, please take a break. Identify your triggers. What are the things that you don't like about certain jobs? Sometimes it's not just the job or the role, sometimes it's the company or how decisions are being made. So, as you grow in your career, start to lean into more of identifying what those things are. And if you're someone who has multi passions, please learn about what is called a portfolio career so that you can clarify your why. If you have a business, I know someone said she was a small business owner here. I'm not sure if a question came out of it, but if you're a small business owner as well, you are part of the system. Look, everybody cannot be in 9 to 5. Who will make this bottle? But you are an employer of labor. And so there's so much more that you can do than you see. But just build a company that matters. Build a company that you can be proud of. Because in the end, the people that work with you or the things that you provide or produce are also helping other people to empower their lives. So please be a responsible like business owner when you think about it. Like just own your own business as well as you own your career. Look, you've all done something amazing today, and I'm super, super proud of you all for X is a small business owner. Okay, okay. I'm super proud of you all for staying. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to. We'll share a post-event survey, so please go and note the things that you liked about it now. So when that survey comes, you can get it. And feel free to also share. I don't know on social media. You can tag me on LinkedIn, on Twitter or Instagram about how this session went. I really hope it was as impactful for you as it was for us. And we will share a couple more resources as well for the people looking to like identify skills and things like that. We're also tinkering about joining creating a community. If that sounds like something you'd like to be a part of, you can just say yes in the comment. And we will send out a post-event survey and go from there. That will just help us figure out how it's going. It's going to be paid, but we'll share all the details once we share the post-event survey. But thank you for being a part of something amazing, and thank you for bringing yourselves really and asking questions. I thought a good chunk of you would join this with like X, A, B, C, but a good chunk of you came and you even owned your names. So these names are etched in our memories. Thank you, Omolola, Temitayo, Chidima, Sonia, Mercy, Febi, Shola, Toluani, Nathali, Ufon, Victory, Blessing, Henry, Adeze, Bola, Israel, Fumi, and Chidima. Thank you all so much. Nathalie, your hand is raised. We're gonna close, let people go, and then if you have questions, you can just stay with me. It's fine. All right, thank you. I'm gonna
Okay, guys, you
bye.
all. Okay, you all. If you want to step out now, you can go. We would send out
Bye.
a post-event survey and chat everyone up. But X can stay behind, and if you have a question, you just want to chat us with us, you can stay behind. But in the meanwhile, it's been a pleasure hosting all of you. You all are the best.
Bye.